finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the oval league's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are. Chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Push Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup series we find who we are. Chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the conclusion of the 2025 season for the Esports Oval League's Grind Cup Series, we have rolled into the Homestead Miami Speedway, where 4 drivers are going to be vying for the opportunity of being the 2025 champion. 4 Toyotas with an opportunity here to park their Camrys in Championship Victory Lane. Alan Dobbs, Trey Whitehead, Peyton Holland, and Noah Jackson. Those are the 4 that have the opportunity here tonight. Highest finisher of those respective drivers will be the champion. There are a number of other drivers in the field as well that would like to end out the season with a checkered flag. 175 laps to settle it. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Scott Rankin, and Scott's been a long season stretching all the way back to the early portions of February. We've gotten to this point in time here tonight. What do these Championship 4 need to do here at Homestead? What kind of options does it open up in the championship battle?
Well, the first thing is, there's a lot of time out there right now, and we're still halfway through qualifying session. It's going to be a long one here to allow everyone to sort of chill out and get through the session. And a lot of the drivers are going out and throwing down their times at this point in time. And when you have a look at the qualifying times, Holland is currently top of the board. Now, Jackson has already had his run, but Trey Whitehead and Alan Dobbs both have not had a crack at his time in qualifying so far. We expect them out on the track. Probably in the next couple minutes, they're going to have another battle, see how things will go. But it's nerves, Seth. This is the big thing. And I was just talking to Peyton Holland a couple minutes ago. I said to him, what have you got to lose? You weren't expected to be here. You weren't expecting to be here. Man, this is a big opportunity. Grab it with both hands and shake it. And if it doesn't come out, you ran a great season. You made it to the Final Four when the cards were against you, but you drove an amazing race to be here. And he said, you know what? That's a great way to put it. And it flipped him a little bit. He said he was probably one of the most nervous people in Alabama right now. So, he's done it in qualifying so far. There's still a couple laps left to come, but that's a really, really good start to the night for him.
Of course, riding the momentum, went into last week's race at Talladega in a must-win situation. He was 8th of the 8 playoff drivers at that point in time. He got the job done, locked himself here into this Final Four, to your point, riding a ton of what do you got to lose mentality, momentum coming into tonight. All 4 of our Championship 4 have gone to victory lane this season. Obviously, Alan Dobbs many, many times so far this season. Noah Jackson with a couple of victories. Trey Whitehead, a former winner as well. And of course, we just documented Peyton Holland's victory. What does that do as far as being a race winner in 2025? How does that add maybe to the confidence level for the Championship 4?
Yeah, look, everyone got the ability to get out there and do that, and that's what we've learned. But Alan will be sitting there and feeling confident. He's really dominated the season to date, but this is the lap. It's one playoffs. If something goes wrong in the early stages of this race, you're going to be digging yourself out of a hole for the rest of the night. So first and foremost, make sure you lock yourself in. Make sure you are smooth, you are cool, you are calm, and you appreciate what you need to do. Stages, think about that. What point is there in stages when you get to a championship race? It's all about setting it up for that final stage. I'm not burning tires in those first stages if I'm in the Championship 4. Why? Stages do not matter. I want extra sets at the back end of the race so I can take advantage if opportunities come my way. So, thinking about this race a little differently is probably the path of the course, is we're actually going to see a couple of these guys, the remaining, go out and set their qualifying times.
Yeah, you bring up a great point there. Obviously, we are going to have stages here tonight, but they're not going to matter in terms of the championship. We said it. Whoever finishes the highest of the Championship 4 is going to take the championship trophy. Currently, you mentioned Peyton Holland, top of the board. My scoring doesn't go into the 10,000ths of a second. Right now, at the thousandths of a second, he and Brock Whitehead currently sitting tied at triple zeros after that decimal point. I was noticing earlier in practice here as well, Alan Dobbs, Trey Whitehead, Peyton Holland, they were 1, 2, 3 on the speed charts. 28 1,000ths of a second separated them. Now, obviously, I would assume that was them having the opportunity of having clean air to the nose as they were going out and turning those laps. How important is track position and clean air going to be tonight?
Very difficult to complete a pass on the leader here at Homestead. So track position's key, getting that good restart, controlling the field into the restart zone, I think is probably one of the bigger things. It's something that I've certainly struggled with throughout the season as well. And there was actually a couple of conversations about how to work on that, that resulted as a part of that. But it's that track position. You control the restart. You control how everyone fires off. You don't have to worry about reaction times and those sorts of things. So, you know, a couple little bits and pieces in there. Clear out. It's such a diverse racetrack. You know, if the guy in front of you is feeding the bottom, you sort of nearly need to move up a lane, half a lane, to try and get the car to work properly. So, you know, it challenges all the different skill sets. But yeah, if you've got track position and you've got that lead, you've got all the advantages swinging your way. Everybody else is going to find something to do with you, and that's the pressure. That pressure builds up and it breaks people. You know, people drive funny, people drive different, and that's the big thing, I think.
Now, of course, we'll be keeping an eye on our Championship 4 tonight, but we cannot lose sight of the fact that there's going to be another 9 drivers out there that want to win this race just as much. They'd like to close out the 2025 season with a trip to victory lane. How is it going to be in terms of the mentality of the Championship 4 to those other drivers on the track, and vice versa, those other 9 drivers, in realizing that they want to win, but also there's 4 drivers out there that are big picture racing for the championship? How does that all kind of mesh here tonight in the finale?
Yeah, I think there's a fair bit. You know, there's a few drivers out there tonight that obviously feel hard done by not to be here, and that is what it is. So, you know, managing the field, I think, is managing the race and managing who you're racing and why. All of that's going to be critical to the way that this story plays out. So race management at large is going to be a big factor. When do you press on? And there will be a time to press on. You know, when do you save? Those are a couple of things. So, you know, it's putting all of those factors together is going to be difficult.
Well, you and I have talked about that this needs to be the venue where actual NASCAR holds the finale at. They've got it here for the finale in the Grind Cup Series, and Trey Whitehead nabbed the pole position, was one of the last drivers to go out there in that 10-minute qualifying session, clocked in 0.06 of a second quicker than Alan Dobbs. Our Championship 4 will occupy 4 of the top 5 positions in tonight's starting lineup. Was noticing a lot of drivers in practice going up, migrating right up against the wall. Others right down there on that white painted line through the corners. Multi-groove racetrack here at Homestead, so a lot of options available for drivers. It'll be interesting to see just how quickly they may end up starting to migrate their way up the racing surface, depending on what happens in tonight's event. 3 stages during the course of this evening's race. First stage will end at lap 45. Second stage at the end of lap 90. 80 lap third and final stage to determine the final winner of the season and, of course, the overall champion. Is obviously, it looks like a lot of these Championship 4 put a lot of effort into making sure they put down that optimal qualifying lap starting up here inside of the top 5.
Yeah, so a little bit of a change up at the back end of qualifying, and Trey Whitehead gets the pole. That's critical. So first battle won his way. That's not the war, though. That's just the start of things. So, I had an issue, actually, I think, on pit lane. Somebody was having an issue turning car on, I was hearing. Ryan White might have had an issue on pit lane trying to get the car fired up.
Noah Jackson's not currently on my telemetry either.
And he's in the championship content.
Okay, now it looks like he's actually appeared. But he's sitting on pit road in his stall.
It's going to be 3/4 of a lap down from the get-go.
Some early issues there for the driver of the 20. You see him as well as Alan Dobbs with the gold on their respective red line Toyotas. You'll also notice the Championship 4 have the gold driver banner up above the windshield here tonight. So it'll be easy for you to tell who those are that are battling for the championship in tonight's season finale. One final time the green flag will wave. We're racing at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, watch how aggressive they are down into turn 1 on this first lap, because that'll be critical. Trey's going to get out by a fair way as well. Holland drops to the inside. He's going to have no momentum. And here comes Alan Dobbs with his first shot that he's going to fire. He obviously wants to clean out of the nose.
Yeah, he had that nice run off of 2. Takes that momentum to the bottom, and he will, not necessarily a slide job, but he is going to move up there and try to put some dirty air on the nose of the 23 off of 4.
And the angle he come back up at wasn't a good one. So obviously looking like at the moment, a lot of guys want to be up and on that high lane, at least early on. Whitehead's going to drop to the inside. He'll run out of momentum as soon as we get off a 2 here and slot back in. But just thinking about what you're doing. The big thing I think for me is keeping an eye on where Noah Jackson popped out. And the good news I have for you is he is in the lead lap. And he isn't all that far off the tail end of the field. So I was worried about him potentially going a lap down, which can sometimes happen. But no, he got a good launch. He got away off a pit lane, and he will be okay. He's going to wait for that stage to sort of bring himself back into it. But the other benefit for Noah Jackson of running off the back of the pack is something does happen in the early running this first stage. He's not there. He can't get involved in it.
It's a great point. I mean, last week at Talladega and our other super speedway races, drivers did have a faster pair available should they have needed it, should the circumstances have warranted one. At the speedways, the short tracks, the road courses, they haven't had that faster pair, and they don't have it here tonight. So to your point, out of trouble should it break out, and of course getting that guaranteed yellow at the conclusion of lap 45 is Trey Whitehead and Alan Dobbs kind of alternating lanes here. Dobbs will try the bottom, Whitehead goes to the top, and then they'll go to the next side of the racetrack and they'll switch lanes here. Trey Whitehead just trying to find that clean air to the nose, and I was noticing a number of these drivers in practice, to your point, most of them migrating up to the top of the racetrack right now. A lot of them were running the top of the racetrack earlier as Patrick McQuaid got loose on the inside off of 4, was able to get on the brakes, keep it pointing in the right direction, continue on. So great job there by the driver of the 77 Chevrolet. But something else I noticed, and I don't know if you're willing to force the issue a little bit more, as Tom Bourne's had a problem off of 2.
He was loose, as was Matt Davies. Sorry, had an issue with Jeff Kleinsma. They've both settled themselves back in. But I was talking to Pat McQuaid about what's going on. So basically, once he got eliminated from the championship, he'd had something sort of in the back pocket. He'd been saving for a while. He went out and bought himself a new racing wheel. So he's had some issues adjusting to it. We think we might have found the cause finally. It was a little bit of a gremlin. He's got no force feedback. So he's gone from a wheel where he's had, generally with the upgrade path that you have on board these machines is generally start out with maybe Logitech or Moser wheels, something at the bottom end, basically. Thrustmaster wheels is generally where everyone starts out. They're cheap, it gets you into sim racing, and then you get out here and you go, man, there's so much extra data out there. And those wheels are great because they're cheap and they get you into racing. But then you get bit with the bug. And, well, the benefits of simulator racing is that there is a lot of different hardware out there that can give you better feeling and feedback through the steering column. But if it's not set up correctly, you get worse feedback. And one of the issues that McQuaid's been having of late is that his steering wheel's not fixed, and we're going to do some tinkering after the race to try and get it back for him. But yeah, it looks like his new steering wheel has not been as good as he was looking for. So he's got some work to do in sort of setting hardware up, which sort of explains sort of a loss in pace after that. But he waited until after he was out of the championship before upgrading.
So that would kind of make sense, because we were documenting couple of weeks ago how he was so consistent during the regular season. It was like a switch was flipped once the playoffs began, and that certainly would make sense as to why we saw that sudden change in performance. McQuaid right now, after that little half slide off the inside of turn 4, back in the 7th position. Tom Bourne, who had that moment off of turn 2, is still in 6th, so a couple of drivers doing a good job of keeping their cars underneath them, still staying up inside of the top 10. That's some good battling back in the latter half of the field. I saw some near contact between Jeff Kleinsma and Ryan Catalano as they were battling for the 10th position. Matt Davies is trying to close up on Patrick McQuaid for 7th. For a lot of drivers here tonight, as you documented, made it into the playoffs, got eliminated in the subsequent rounds, just looking to end out the season on a high note. Some of them obviously are looking for the victory, but there may be some as well after the struggles they had the last couple of weeks after their eliminations that are just looking to end out the season with maybe a solid podium finish, a solid top 5. Just end the season on a high note. It might be what a lot of drivers are looking for here.
Yeah, good opportunity too as well. I mean, if this run here is shy on fuel, good opportunity to fuel save and get yourself ahead. If you can cut out that pit stop in the stage, that'll be huge as well. Like I said, if I'm in the championship 4 here, I'm taking a splash and dash at each of the, if the stages do require fuel. Just want that extra set of tires for when it matters. You know, I'm happy giving up a couple spots in the stages, but I want those tires. I'm not sitting here and saying we're gonna get those cautions tonight, and everyone seems to be hanging on to their hot rods thus far. But yeah, just giving myself the opportunity. One of the things I'm actually keeping an eye on at the moment is Noah Jackson's lap times. He's actually the fastest car on track at the moment, or thereabouts. Like, he's 100th of a second from being the fastest car on track, so he is quick. He has got speed right now. And the other thing is that the other car that's quick at the moment is Trey Whitehead.
Trying to make the move there for the lead is Trey on Alan Dobbs. Looked like maybe last time by up here through 3 and 4, Dobbs may have overstepped the cushion a tiny bit, may have brushed the outside wall, and that was something I was going to ask you. Was I was noticing in practice, and in practice, you know, you're willing to push the car to the ultimate limit to try and get that lap time, and so maybe you're willing to overextend the cushion, see if it sticks or not. But I was wondering if that was going to continue to be an issue here with so many drivers running up there on the top end of the racetrack as the tires start to wear, as that groove starts to get rubbered in and makes a clear definitive line between where the grip begins and ends. Is that going to be an issue for these drivers, maybe overstepping that cushion just a little bit with the left front, getting up into the wall, and can that affect the race car for the remainder of the event?
Yeah, absolutely. Any track where the high line sort of becomes dominant, you know, that's a risk that you run. Old Atlanta and Texas are examples of other racetracks where you get the similar sort of feel. Darlington's obviously another one where you just overstep those bounds fractionally and then you're into the barriers. So, look, it's something you have to manage, and it's something you manage differently. If I'm racing for the lead, I'm obviously going to push the car maybe a touch harder. If I'm just trying to chill on the tire and look after it, I'll look after it a little bit better. I can't believe how close these two are, running different lanes. Normally it's one lane dominant here, but just keep your eye on Trey White as he comes back up out of 1 and 2. It's most pronounced off of 2. As he comes back up, you'll see his car just hop the groove just a little bit. That seam right there, see how the car just sort of bounces a lot? That top seam, it feels like a bump when you go across it. The car so if you've got a car that's maybe a little bit on edge, sometimes you can actually end up spinning off of that seam as the car jumps across it, sort of hops sideways. It's just that time more of a middle groove. He wasn't as in the bottom seam in 3 and 4. You see him. See how underneath that bottom seam he is over in 1 and 2? 3 and 4, you want to maybe keep up a little bit more momentum. So later arc down, and I think he might have missed the bottom last time by. No, he's actually going for a very definitive middle groove this time. So the line has changed now as the tires have started to wear.
Just kind of straddling the seams there through the final set of corners as Dobbs continues to show the way over Whitehead. Peyton Holland right now in the 4th position. Brock Whitehead splitting up 3 of the championship 4. And then Christian Ruse, the highest running Chevrolet, is the last driver right now in the lead pack. It's about nearly 2 seconds back to 6th place position, which is Tom Bourne. So Ruse, the only other non-Camry manufacturer right up here at the front of the field. Another driver that's looking to end out the season with a victory. Has had a couple of really good runs here the last month or so, and trying to continue that consistency at the close of the season. Going back to your point there with Noah Jackson, he not only has been able to stay on the tail end of the lead lap, he's actually making up ground. He caught Ryan Catalano, bypassed him, now into the 13th position. It's about 2 or so seconds, maybe about 2.5 seconds away from Matt Mettler. Obviously, we talk about there not being any stage points that the Championship 4 have to worry about, but in terms of track position for Noah Jackson, right now, if he can have his team preserve where he's running, he would not restart last in the field for stage 2.
Well, actually keeping an eye on Ryan Catalano. Ryan Catalano's got a lot of right front. Oh, he got him! He got him! He cleared him! Dobbs touched him up too. So he finally got that job done. Now they're going to go side by side. So this is the first time Trey's been in the top groove for a very long time, and first time Dobbs has been in the bottom groove. So this is actually critical to the race. Again, he slides up, tries to take that air off. Trey's going to have a huge run here. Does he cover it? He does. So he just pinches him.
It's kind of interesting how we were watching that slow,
he's going to take him. He's going to slide jump him
by Trey to be able to make the pass on Dobbs. Dobbs passed him right back the lap prior, or lap after that. Is that a case of that Trey hadn't run all that many laps up there on the top side, spent most of the time on the bottom?
So this is critical. Dobbs thought he was going to have to go for another slide job move, and Trey just went, nope, I'm going to switch back and get back to the bottom. So they're thinking about how they're racing each other right now, and Dobbs, I think, has realized that top group is not where he wants to be. He is loose on the entry of the corner. Look how much center drive Trey has got. Oh, he's very loose. He's going to lose it. He saved it. Trey's put some work in this week.
Big save there for Alan Dobbs. He's gone back to fourth, but that could have been his championship right there.
Yeah, it could have. And the big thing was, Trey said, Dobbs just said on the radio, goddamn, that it was the air that got me loose. I don't think it was the air. Remember how we were talking about that seam? I think he caught the seam. But Trey's been smooth and consistent. His car's looked quite neutral, whereas I've just been keeping an eye on Alan the last couple of laps, and Dobbs has definitely been on a touch more on the loose side, which is good. You definitely want to free the car up if you can, but he just drove it to the point where it got too loose then, and now he's going to have a bad race car for the rest of this run, which is going to be tricky.
Tom Bourne loose on the bottom there as he was battling with Patrick McQuaid for the 6th position. Again, looked like maybe had his tires on that seam there, and I can only assume the longer the run goes on, as much pressure that these loose race cars are putting on that right rear tire, it's only going to get worse if you put that right rear on one of these seams off the corner.
Well, Catalano is wrecking loose at the back end of things. He's got right front damage, and now he's wrecking loose as well. So he's in a world of hurt. He's just trying to survive. There's not much that he can do, which is disappointing. You know, this car was in championship contention for a very long period of time. I think he did a lot better than he thought he expected to do. Look how much that thing is unstable in the corner entry, Seth. And it's not just on the entry. It's the whole way through. Makes you scared of the gas pedal. You can't put your foot in the gas pedal. You lose lap time.
Just trying to keep that car on the lead lap here until the stage yellow comes out, which is still a ways away. Crossing the line here, going to be 19 laps still that Catalano's going to have to deal with that race car. It's interesting you were talking about, and we've seen this, especially at the mile and a half racetracks, where they tend to put the completion of stage 1 just outside of reach, being able to make it on fuel. So we'll see usually the pace back down a ton as drivers try to save enough to get to that stage caution. With what we saw, that racing between Alan Dobbs and Trey Whitehead with those two respective lines, it at least visibly looked like they weren't holding anything back. So if there is that possibility that you're about maybe 5 so laps short on making it to the stage caution, it's just guarantee that we're going to see a few of our Championship 4 on pit road.
Not necessarily. But I look, just they're not saving, so realistically, it's going to be a potential. I can't sit here and say, yes, it is, no, it ain't, because realistically, I don't know. We're not going to know until we get there. You know, 65% fuel limits, you know, basically 2/3 of the fuel tank means they can do 2/3 of the fuel run. I think a fuel run here is about 70 laps, so it's going to be tight. So
this all going on from 9th place on back. Ryan White trying to hold off fellow Blue Oval CJ Papa as, looks like he got maybe a little loose through the center and is slow off of turn 2. Jeffrey Kleinsma is in this group, and take a look who's right there as well. That gold number 20, Noah Jackson, has reeled in this group. He's got a shot of racing his way back up into the top 10 before the stage 1 caution comes out.
Yeah, Papa's on the outside now. He's actually going to little bit of panel rubbing on the front straight away. But he's just been working away at things, quietly going about his business. Matt Davies, I think, just down the road of these guys, might have gotten loose on that last lap. You just see how much wheel work going on. Do you see Jeff Kleinsman's car shoot left and right? The rear end of it? off the corner. It just tells you these things are loose. They are not easy to drive. I tell you, in terms of ease on how you can drive a car, you want a tight race car. That thing is very easy to drive. Okay, the car just won't turn. All right, I just slow down. That's it. Loose race car. Probably one of the things where Shane Van Gisbergen has probably struggled a little bit is you got to drive the car off the right rear, but doing that at such high speeds is not easy. Doing that with the transfer and the weight in race cars is not easy. It's a big you would be used to that, but doing it at that level for that period of time is difficult. But it's one of those skill sets. You can't just jump in these cars and just go racing. It's not that easy. You've got to feel for where the car is balanced. You got to feel for where the weight is going. You got to feel for what the car wants to do, and make decisions about how hard you're going to drive it. And ultimately, that's where the tire wear comes from. Because if you go in there and you smoke that right rear tire off it, and it is a right rear limited set. What we talk about limited set is these two race each other real hard. I think Noah Jackson's going to finally clear him and go back to working his lines. But if you burn that right rear off and it is limited by the right rear, i.e. the right rear is the hardest worked car, Tom Bourne's going to pit. I think this is because his right rear is gone. Yeah.
See if this draws more drivers to pit road here as well. I'm trying to remember back to which race it was. I want to say it might have been the Las Vegas race a couple of weeks ago. And it was, I believe, Brock Whitehead ended up having something happen to him where he spent a good portion of the race back in traffic. We got to the second half of the race, he got track position, and he was up there at the front, had a shot of winning that race. And I kind of wondered back if maybe that time he spent in traffic, in dirty air, figuring out the strengths and weaknesses of his car in traffic, if that helped him to then be able to cut his way up past the top 2, top 3 in front of him to eventually get to that clean air. With Noah Jackson, what we've seen him be able to do here in this run, how much more dangerous do you think that's going to make him later on in this race if he's able to get the track position back and only has a few cars to pass as opposed to the 4 or 5 cars he had in that big group just moments ago?
One of the big things that the guys at the front, they've had running in dirty air for extended periods of time on the fresh tire as well. So they know what the car's going to perform like and what it's going to feel like, whereas he doesn't have that data. So whilst it's nice that he's worked his way up here, he's got one stage worth of learning, basically, before we get into that final stage. Now, is it possible? Is it potential? Yeah, absolutely it is. He can certainly work his way back through and learn that in that time period, but it just gives him less time to, test things and adjust. So, he'll have to go to work, do what he can, as all the best guys do. But, yeah, it's yes, he's had the ability to cut his way through cars, but the biggest thing is, as well, as we're going to see Dobbs pit, I would be saying if Noah Jackson, with that one pacing lap, if he can keep half the field a lap down, that's huge.
Dobbs pitting from the second position. Ryan Catalano has also come down pit road, and we showed you Tom Bourne coming down for his pit stop. See if others make the dive off the banking towards pit road here, as Trey Whitehead will come around for 10 laps to go in stage 1. You go back to Noah Jackson as well, and that last round of the playoffs, it was a struggle for him. You go back to the first race of the round of 8 at Phoenix, had some kind of a hardware issue, spun it off of turn 2, pounded the inside wall, the whole left front suspension was killed. DNF'd, finished dead last in that race and spent the next 2 races trying to play catch-up. Got the stage points he needed in a solid finish at Talladega last week to advance into the Final Four, but it's not the first time that he's ended up starting off a race with some adversity, so maybe that experience as well, the ability to be able to come back from it, might help him in tonight's race.
It just gives you confidence, One of the things you don't want is you don't want to head into this position and be nervous. Well, but that's the championship for. It does funny things to people. You want to put the prep work in. A lot of these guys have done that and put the prep work in. But I just wonder if somebody's not going to make this stage. Caution's out. Caution?
Yes, it is.
There's a car off at the back.
It's Bourne. Inside of the back straightaway. Doesn't look like he hit the inside wall. The yellow flag's going to wave nonetheless. And Peyton Holland, who we just saw coming off of pit road, went a lap down. Should be the free pass. Alan Dobbs managed to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. And he's only got maybe 1.5 laps on his tires. So I would assume he's going to stay out here and he's going to gain all that track position back.
I don't know that anyone's actually taken tires yet. I was just watching the lap times from Bourne. He definitely didn't take tires.
Good point.
I don't think Dobbs did as well.
Nope,
Yeah.
You're right. Fuel only for all those that pit with the exception of Catalano.
Yeah, Catalano had to try and dig himself out of a hole. And the other thing for Catalano is there's a fair bit of damage on that race car as well. So this was had a loose race car at this point. He was having a lot of problems with that right rear. And I think you'll see that here in a sec. Same set of tires, same problems.
Ooh. Caught the inside wall
yeah.
with the right rear, and then it directed the left front into that almost 45-degree angle wall that allows the emergency vehicles access to the track.
That's a lot of damage on that car. He's gonna be stuck, I'd say, for the rest of the night.
Talked about him having his hands full. Let's ride on board and take a listen to the throttle input of the 16.
He's not even pressing on all that hard. You can see some of the damage. The hood pop up a little bit there as well.
So tough start to the night for one of our playoff drivers this season. Got eliminated back last week at Talladega, the conclusion of the round of 8. And brings out the first caution of the night for cause. I have to see, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting back green prior to the conclusion of the first stage. So it may be a bit of a shootout here to end off stage 1.
Matt Medlis, CJ Papa stayed out. This is going to be an interesting restart. Again, there's not really... Catalano is the only one with tires, really. I'm just taking a quick look. Jeff Kleinsma took tires. I think Ryan White might have taken some damage repair. Matt Davies took tires.
So did Patrick McQuaid, it looks like. From about 8th place on back, took tires. 3rd through 7th, fuel only.
Yeah. So there's going to be 5 laps to the stage here. And I've got some insight from Tom Bourne. 3 minutes of optional damage. So there's a fair bit of damage to that race car. He's taken about 45 seconds of it. So you'll need a couple more cautions. There's one coming here in a few laps.
He'll be battling Ryan Catalano for the free pass. Those two, Catalano and Bourne, 1 lap down. The other 12 drivers all in the lead lap here. This will be a 5-lap shootout to end stage 1. Control car and CJ Papa got himself a great launch. Question will be able to hold off Alan Dobbs. They're on equal footing in terms of the tires. As Dobbs immediately jumps up to the outside line, tries to get that run down the back straightaway, and he's going to use that surge to clear CJ Papa before they even get to the entrance of 3.
Trey Whitehead was 3 wide coming off of 2 because Jeff Kleinsman's got fresh tires, and he's thinking, I want a stage win before this season's out.
Oh,
somebody got into each other. That was, yeah.
Caution.
That might be the stage right there. That might be the end of it.
You know, I kind of wonder, you talked about Trey back there in 3 wide. We had the different drivers with the varying strategies. If you were a Championship 4 driver, do you kind of maybe just throw up your hands and say, nope, I want out of this situation. I don't want my championship hopes to end here as soon as stage 1.
Ooh. I don't know if he got loose It was Noah Jackson he got into on the bottom. I think he only just got him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it just me, or did he look like he come back down? He definitely came back down
Yeah.
the racetrack.
It was hard to tell if
Well,
his car was
he got
maybe
loose.
starting to migrate up the racetrack there through the center of the corner. Get an aerial shot here. Kind of better to turn and just kind of watch the seams. Yeah. It's kind of the trouble with the 1.5 mile racetracks. We've talked about it all season, that gray area. Drivers have a different line of entry, a different line through the center, a different line off, and sometimes, depending on how you're approaching the entrance and the exit of the corner, two cars are probably going to want the same piece of real estate, and I think that was kind of the case right there. Fortunately, for Matt Mettler, didn't make any contact with anything. Not sure if there should be any level of concern about the right front quarter panel on the 20 or not.
I think he should be okay. Relatively, it was very light contact. Yeah, he's come back out where he was expected to pop back out.
So here was the strategy play. All those drivers that you mentioned that came down and took on tires under the first caution came down this time, and they went with fuel only, while everybody else that went with fuel only on the first yellow elected to take tires here at the conclusion of stage 1. So Kleinsma and Matt Davies on the fuel only stops, they are going to cycle to the front of the field.
Yeah, great opportunity for these boys. And the other thing uniquely with where that stage is, that puts us on a one-stop stage in stage 2 as well. Just because that one came a little bit early, but they called the stage there. So lights are off. We're actually going to be going green at the end of 45.
See, the headlights
Anyway.
have turned on the iRacing pace car as we started in the sunset twilight hours. We're going to be ending under the lights here this evening at Homestead. Been a lot of nighttime races here during the course of the playoffs. We ended up having, of course, the first round elimination race to determine the round of 12 under the lights at the Last Great Coliseum of Bristol. We had our other elimination race at Auto Club, nighttime conditions under the lights there to determine the round of 8, and here tonight going to determine the championship under the lights in Homestead, Miami Speedway.
I like to think of it as we're putting our champion up in lights. How about that?
There you go. Peyton Holland got the free pass under this yellow flag, so Tom Bourne, the only driver 1 lap down, would be in line for the free pass on any subsequent cautions if we don't have another driver fall off the lead lap. All 14 drivers still scored in this race, though Tom is on pit road getting some more damage serviced and may fall a 2nd lap down as Jeff Kleinsma brings us to the green flag here to start stage 2.
Definitely fall the 2nd lap down. He recognizes as well. He's not firing off the pit lane. He doesn't want to get in anyone's way. So everyone's going to get back to green here, but there's a great opportunity for Kleinsma and Davies to lead some laps. And Kleinsma's going to block Dobbs. He doesn't want him coming back by. Dobbs is going to take that line. Remember how he tried to slide job on Trey a whole bunch of times in stage 1? Kleinsma just couldn't quite get back to the drive. He actually touched loose off of 1 and 2.
Trey Whitehead now boxed in, battling with Davies for 3rd. Looks like he may clear up on him off of 2. He's got Kleinsma between himself and Dobbs, and then another car back behind him. Noah Jackson going to work on Brock Whitehead for the 5th position.
Matt Davies, I think, might have just gotten tipped into the turn a touch. I think there might have been contact there. Either way, Davies is going to make contact with the outside barrier. Keep your mind on Peyton Holland as well. He's got to dig himself out of a hole. And the stages for him must have been his best attribute, realistically.
Yep, Peyton Holland, he's had top 4, top 5 speed here tonight. Just got caught out with the timing of that first yellow flag after making a pit stop under green. Was a lap down and was not in line for the free pass either. Just got the lucky dog and now having to make his way back forward. Currently back in the 11th position as Championship 4 drivers currently hold the top 3 spots. Whitehead and Jackson both getting around Jeff Kleinsma. This will be the furthest up to the front that Noah Jackson has been all night long after starting this race from pit road.
We're all still... this is a big one because this is about just looking and being conservative on that tire as well. Don't go burning them up. You know, but also for Jeff Kleinsma and Matt Davies, they got themselves a great opportunity for some track position up at the pointy end of things. Hasn't worked out that way for Matt Davies. He's slowly drifted back, but Kleinsma's hanging on to it nicely. Brock Whitehead very loose off the 2 that time. I realistically think we are right rear limited. Whenever we are right rear limited, this is a talent thing. How hard do I press? But the other thing is, you can be chased into pressing hard. I've seen some of the best in NASCAR go, well, I've got to maintain the clear air, and they just get chased into overdriving the car.
Been some challenging racetracks here this season, whether it be during the regular season or in the playoffs. Only seems right that a driver's racetrack is where the title is decided here tonight. Brock Whitehead right now the highest running of the non-playoff drivers, has been on a tremendous streak to close out the 2025 season. Almost pulled off that victory a couple weeks ago at Las Vegas. Had a great run last week at Talladega. Almost ended up playing a little bit of a championship spoiler there, as well as he was the one that pushed Peyton Holland to the victory. Back-to-back podium finishes for him, and I've been told that I'm supposed to have you leave the commentary booth if he's leading here tonight around 10 laps to go.
Well, I was actually talking to Brock because a couple of weeks ago, was it Texas, we were talking about he was leading the race and he looked in control. I said, you know, he's driven a great race. He had driven a great race at that point, and then, you know, I think I said at that point in time, one of the only things that could possibly happen is a yellow, and he's out of tires. He's just not in a situation where that will work out well for him, and those circumstances happened about 2 minutes later. So, but I said to Brock tonight, pre-race, all right, buddy, my cursing powers are going to transfer tonight. You pick who? He said, Trey, every day of the week. I do not want to have to listen to him strutting around the house, having won a championship. I do not want to have to hear it. No, thank you.
Hey, we're racing in Homestead, not in Philadelphia. We don't need brotherly love here tonight. You mentioned about Jeff Kleinsma doing a great job holding on there with slightly older tires. Took those tires on at the back half of the run there at the conclusion of stage 1. Same deal for Patrick McQuaid, who right now is the highest running of those drivers that went with the alternative strategy near the close of stage 1, currently in the 5th position. And looking at the lap times, he's actually starting to reel in Brock Whitehead. He's been about anywhere from 1/10.5 to 2/10 faster than the 71. Granted, he's been almost up into the wall a couple times too. Seen some sparks flying off the right rear quarter panel on corner exit a few times.
But Kleinsma in the barrier. Caution's out.
Oh.
So this is the fuel stop we needed to get to the end of the stage. I don't reckon it'll be any more than like 5 or 7 laps or so with the fuel that we need. But for Jeff, tricky, difficult.
Another driver that's had a tremendous season. Pointed his way into the playoffs, super consistent during the regular season, and then relied on that consistency to get him into the round of 8. Came up just short of advancing into the Final Four last week at Talladega, but issues here. 55 laps in to tonight's event. Almost maybe might have hit the exact same area of the racetrack, maybe just a little before that Tom Bourne did earlier, as turn 2 has definitely seemed to be the trouble spot for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, and again, it's just seams, just crossing seams. A car gets unstable, gets loose. If you already got it in that condition and it hits that seam, well, the tire bounces, which means you induce more of that condition. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So
Similarly to Tom Bourne, hits with the left rear first, and then that just directs the car frontwards into the inside wall as well. Take a listen here as we're on board with clients, but you can see that was even sooner than where Tom Bourne had his issue off the corner. You saw the wheel all of a sudden start turning to the right, trying to counter steer it.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing as well. You know, once it's gone, you sort of, if you lock the tires down, it's going to keep going in the same direction that it's currently going. But, you know, driver techniques of gas it up will spin it more towards the bottom of the racetrack when it's coming around on you like that. Locking the brakes will keep it going in a straight line, but you got to sort of be careful. You got to release the brakes a little to get it to spin where you need it to go. Everyone pit under that caution.
Looks like Brock Whitehead will win the battle off of pit road. A little bit of variation in terms of the amount of time in each driver's respective box, the amount of fuel that they took on there. About 5.5 seconds for Brock Whitehead, 4.3 for Noah Jackson, and then I'm looking at some of these others. Alan Dobbs,
look at Peyton Holland.
about 9 seconds.
Well, Peyton's played a big strategy card here because he's going from the back of the field to the front. So if he was just chilling on the fuel previously and just saving fuel as he was cutting his way through the field, that would explain it. But it's a 4-second difference in 12 laps with the fuel. I'd question whether or not that car is full of fuel.
He's going to restart in the 3rd position, right behind Noah Jackson, beside Alan Dobbs. Love the livery on that car here. We are in the Vice City. You got the pink on the red line sponsorship, the seafoam green or cyan blue, whatever you'd like to call it there, the Miami colors on that Toyota Camry, even right down to the Toyota logo and the Camry text on the front nose and back bumper of that race car, embracing
Very beautiful.
the location of tonight's season finale.
You know, I was taking photos actually last week while I wasn't here. I was at Bathurst. Do you know what they're getting prepped for in Australia?
What's that?
Toyota Supra V8 supercar joining the field in the Gen 3
Really?
supercars next year. Yeah, it was very, very beautiful. We showed all photos of that earlier tonight to a few of these boys. So we'll have a new Supra down under, and I can tell you, I have been converted. One viewing was all it took. I have been converted. I'm a Toyota man.
Well, there are Toyotas up here at the front. 4 of the top 6 restarting spots are all Camrys as Brock Whitehead on the top side for the restart will lead them into turn 1. The similarly painted 35 and 20 of Dobbs and Jackson left to battle for second. Dobbs looks like he'll clear for that spot off the exit of turn 2. Jackson into 3rd, Holland in 4th, and Trey Whitehead right now finds himself all the way back in the 13th position. I'm assuming maybe a speeding penalty for the 23 here under this pit stop?
Something happened because he came back down. He came back for more fuel.
Interesting.
He pit again. So unless everyone's tight on fuel and Trey's gone, the best way for me to make it is to just run at the back. But he didn't make the back end of the field. Something else is going on there.
And there he is. To your point, a long ways back. Because I was kind of wondering, you said it at the beginning of the night. We're not stage racing if you're the championship 4. You're running the strategy that is going to get you to the line first when the checkered flag waves, not the green and white checkered flag. So I would have been surprised if Trey gave up all that track position just to be able to make it to the end of the stage on fuel. As Brock Whitehead loose on the bottom, and he's going to spin it down on the inside. Look out! Oh gosh! CJ Papa also got loose, and they met in the same area. Two entirely different incidents that meet halfway down the back straightaway. One from a battle for the race lead, another back around the 8th position.
Brock Whitehead's championship finale race is done. Now, the best part about that is he's not involved in the championship 4, but that's still a hard way to finish.
Wow, because he had that thing saved. He hadn't hit the inside wall. He'd been able to correct it back, used all of that apron runoff, and would have still been good to go, but massive, massive impact, almost a T-bone collision from CJ Papa, who also got loose off of turn 2 and just annihilated the right side of the 71.
There's a lot more that went on because there was contact with Catalano. There was an issue with Catalano and Papa. And they tripped over each other.
See if we can catch that here on this shot. Of course, go back and focus the camera on the 13 as well. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, he hasn't hit the wall. He'll be good. And right there, just from out of nowhere, gets the hit from CJ Papa. And we saw the end result is that car was literally crabbing its way back to pit road entry.
Problem is, I don't think the caution was out for this initial thing. So everyone else is staying at race speed. So keep your eye on Catalano. So Catalano's the 92 up here. So he's slow. He's lifting. I think CJ Papa's trying to take advantage. So he sees it. So watch those two cars right there on the fence. And then there's contact, and there's contact again. And when I went back and I personally had another look at it on my screens, and Catalano's come off the fence to trigger it, is the first contact. He hasn't moved down much. He moves down, a couple feet. So he's loose. And then right there, he sort of comes off the fence slightly, and Papa's expecting him to hold his line, and it's just miscommunication.
Man, it's such tough luck there for Brock Whitehead. In that incident culminating off of turn 2, sending the 13 on a direct trajectory to where his car was sitting after his spin down the back straightaway. As you say, neither of the drivers involved there in the championship battle, but Brock Whitehead certainly seemed like he had a car capable, if not winning this race, of finishing up inside of the top 3, as he was in a good battle with Alan Dobbs before the car stepped out on him on the exit of turn 2, and now he's on pit road getting as much damage repaired as he can. Same for CJ Papa. This caution is going to put Tom Bourne back on the lead lap, as he will be the 12th car running right now, and that's the number of drivers we're going to have currently on the racetrack out of the 14 that took the green to start this thing. You mentioned as well, this caution going to be the one needed for everybody to save enough under these pacing laps. Should be able to make it to the conclusion of stage 2, which would be at lap 90. Roughly about 27 laps away from when we go back green, with Alan Dobbs out in front, Noah Jackson in second, Peyton Holland in third, and this caution will help Trey Whitehead catch back up to the field as he'll restart in the 10th position.
Good restart for him. Everyone else is going to get real clammed up, though. The Peyton Holland's back up here and at the point. We said, had to play some strategy. He's done that now. I do expect that should be us good on fuel to the end of the stage.
Looking back from Noah Jackson, you see 3-4 different lanes being utilized through the entrance of turn 3 to the exit of turn 4, and then they all just kind of narrow back up to 1.5 grooves down the straightaway right up against that wall.
Keep moving around. Dobbs is trying to use the low lane to preserve a little bit of right front. Also, use less fuel down there.
What about for tires, though? Because we remember seeing that battle between Dobbs and Whitehead, where Dobbs ran the top, Whitehead ran the bottom. Is there a line where you would use up more Goodyear than as opposed to another line?
In theory, it should be the top. because your corner entry speed and your mid corner speed, which translates to heat, is up there. So, you know, the thing is, that should be the line that wears the most tire, but you're transitioning over so many seams here and where the seams are placed that it's not always just straight out and out the case. And a loose race car, generally the top line trends you tight when you run up there. So that's why you would normally run the bottom. But we're not seeing that tonight. So that says to me that, look, both lanes are an option, but running down the bottom generally wears less tire. It just matters about how much wheel you're putting into it. And just keeping an eye on Peyton Holland's inputs, he's still loose in that final third of the corner, is my concern for him.
Update on Christian Ruse in the 14. I noticed that he spent over a minute on pit road the last time everybody came down pit lane, and he has now, a couple laps ago, brought his car back down pit road. It looks like he may have retired from the race. I didn't recall seeing him in any incidents here tonight.
No, he's had a connector issue. Yeah,
Okay.
his car actually interrupted the server. Yeah.
So right now he is listed in the 12th position, dependent on whether or not Brock Whitehead and CJ Papa can get back out there, log some laps. Unofficially, that is where Ruse would end out tonight's season finale at Homestead, as we're focused here on Trey Whitehead. Right now the furthest back of the championship four, P6. As he's now looking to move back up into the top 5, and he'll have to get around Patrick Wade to do so.
He's doing well, though. The tricky concern is I just got a couple messages come my way from Brock Whitehead. I was just asking him about fuel mileage now that he's out of the race. And he said it's about 41, 42 laps. So once we got that first caution, everyone was good on fuel. So seeing these cars trend really, really loose. So again, just watching the steering input. If you see a driver as he's coming off of the corner start to unrotate the wheel quickly. So look, loads it up a little bit, balances it, and see how he wheel steps back right a little bit. See there, that was a snap of looseness. Now, this is a personal preference, it's a personal thing, a personal way that I like to go about driving my car. But generally, this is something I was taught. I got an opportunity to drive a Formula 4 here about 3.5 years ago. So I went and took that with both hands. Gee whiz, the car on the outside. Matt Davies got the fence. So that one was actually close. Trey was just expected to rotate that back all the way to the fence and carry speed, and he had to check that because he couldn't do it. But one of the big things I was taught when I drove that Formula Ford is the biggest corner on the track. Generally, if it's a hairpin, you want to rotate the steering wheel 90 degrees left, and I've lived by that. That's where I feel comfortable steering the steering wheel. So generally, when I'm driving NASCAR, is I want to get back to that. So I tend to slow down the steering ratio, and the reason why is it gives me finer adjustment of how much steering wheel that I'm using. But I like using my hands a little bit more. Some drivers minimize the amount of wheel input that they're doing. But one of the things that you also saw from that onboard shot as well as tonight, that the fixed setup that these guys are running, steering offset right. The amount of wheel that you've got to turn, that also increases the amount of offset. So the steering wheel might go from 1 or 2 degrees right to when you slow it down, it's 3 to 4 degrees right. It's just little things like that, little intricacies with the way that you can set up the car and the tools you have available to you. And the other thing is some drivers, have a very specific steering ratio number that they like. And I can tell you 14 and 16 to 1 in both the Xfinity and the NASCAR. That's in the trucks. That's where I like my ratios. I tend to not like the shorter ratios unless we're actually at a short track. But again, personal preference, it comes back to how much I want that steering wheel turning. And I want to use as much generally, like I said, up to about 90 degrees of steering wheel input is where I feel comfortable. And I'll think about that on road courses as well.
We talk about driver comfort all the time, and a lot of these drivers, with what we've seen on the onboards, not maybe as comfortable as they would like to be, as we've seen them trying to counter steer off the corner to avoid the loose sensation. And we looked just moments ago, ambient temperature here in South Florida, 78 degrees. Track temperature just a tick above that at 80 degrees. Obviously, we're migrating deep into the nighttime hours now. The lights have come out on the racetracks. The track may continue to cool. Is that going to help or exacerbate the loose sensation that these drivers are feeling here 75 laps in?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of both. What it will do is it will transition the car back to a state of more grip. Generally, when you have more grip, that generally trends to a tighter race car. But what it also can do, and this is one of the things that's unique about Homestead, is that makes you drive the track a little bit harder. You can drive it a little bit faster when you've got more drip in the track. Well, that means more throttle input. More throttle input tends the car more loose. So it's not necessarily one way or the other, but you will feel that track transition a little bit to the loose side. Lanes you're running can help with that, and where you place the car and when you're crossing those seams and what you do when you cross those seams will sort of some of the, again, adjustments that you can make. With a fixed setup race car, all three manufacturers have the same set underneath them, and what that means is the car is performing identically. In iRacing, there's no Toyotas are quicker in a straight line with their aero. They draft better, they double draft better, they side draft worse, you know. It's literally just a shell. All the performance characteristics of the car on the sim iRacing are identical, which means you can take a setup that you throw in a Chevy, throw it be fine. So that's the biggest benefit of all that. There is no preferred race car because it's got any better characteristics. It also allows us to do fixed set racing, like we have here. Yeah, so that leaves us with the only tools the drivers. There's a couple tools the drivers have to adjust. Steering ratio we've already talked about. Brake bias is another one. They use that quite aggressively here. Steering offset. And then what you're actually doing with the car is the big one. So driver talents, that last piece. Driver skill set, driver input is that last piece of the puzzle.
Well, 4 drivers came into tonight looking to be the 2025 Grind Cup Series champion. All 4 of them right now at the front of the field. Dobbs, Jackson, Holland, and Whitehead. 1st through 4th. Whitehead trying to get the 3rd position away from Peyton Holland right now. Is taking place roughly about 2.5 seconds behind Alan Dobbs, and about 11-12 laps away from when we're going to get that final guaranteed caution at the conclusion of stage 2.
I don't think Tom Bourne's actually taken a second set of tires here either, so there's quite a few people I think were thinking about it. He's definitely taken a set of tires at the end of the stage, but yeah, he's been trying to work on that race car. I believe it should be back to clean again.
Christian Ruse has returned back into the server as well after you document his connection problems, albeit 7 laps down.
He'll get one of those back, but he's going to be on struggle street for the rest of the night. I don't reckon we're going to have enough cautions for him to get back to the lead lap, but you know, there's the opportunity for what he can do.
Battle continues here. Trey Whitehead able to get to that left rear quarter panel as they exit off of 4, but the 19 just gets enough momentum to clear by the time they get halfway down the back straightaway. Whitehead looking to clear this time off of turn 2. Can't do it yet.
But he is alongside. At some point, he's gonna send a slide job.
Could be right here if he can clear up, and I believe he can. Caution is out, though. Jeff Kleinsma has had a problem. Second time he's going around on the back straightaway.
Might be more damage on that one as well. That looks like there's more damage on the left front corner of that car.
And another caution very close to the conclusion of the stage. We had one about, 6-7 laps away from the end of stage 1. This one going to come out about 8.5 laps away from the conclusion of stage 2. So do we see more drivers kind of flip the stage? Pit now, take on the tires, and then just take on fuel when the stage caution comes out.
Interesting to see what's going to happen here. Again, see the right rear was on that seam.
Oh, gracious! Ryan Catalano narrowly avoids the 15 of Kleinsma as he comes back up the racetrack, and that damage on the front end this time was from the outside retaining wall rather than the inside.
So Violent, he just come back up as well. And remember, Catalano's got a bitten race car as well. He's trying to do what he can. He's got a lot of damage on that right front.
See the 15 up ahead there. And then suddenly, hello.
Oh, good awareness. Great awareness.
Man.
He stays in that. He is dead for the day. Car done.
Tense moment there for Catalano is some drivers on pit road. I almost expected to see the entire field come down pit road and kind of play the strategy games we saw near the end of stage 1. Not the case. Looks like about 7 drivers have elected to actually stay out here under this yellow. Everybody else has come down pit road, and one of those drivers you mentioned came into tonight with the nothing to lose mentality. Peyton Holland coming down pit road, took on a set of tires right here and now to see if he can gain that track position before we get the stage yellow, and I would assume more than likely either stay out or go fuel only on the stage caution.
Yeah, so we're all just making sure Chris Roos is getting some laps back. So the league does have rules about hardware failures and disconnections. You remember, I think it was Catalano back at Atlanta?
Yep.
And we were trying to get him back because it wasn't his fault. He encountered a bug that was sort of non-fixable. He couldn't get that car repaired, even though there was a fast repair available to him because it was a super speedway race. So again, same rules here. Chris Roos got, I think, 4 laps back there. So he's very, very close to being back to the lead lap. Might not only been 3. But either way, he got some significant time back, so.
So Peyton Holland, Tom Bourne, Jeff Kleinsma, Ryan Catalano. 4 drivers on the lead lap that came down pit road. Kleinsma obviously for some damage repair. But Peyton Holland did take on a set of tires.
He just asked for a set of tires to be put at the back end of the queue.
Could this be he's going to try and crawl around the racetrack here on this set of tires to be able to stay out when the stage caution comes out?
I do believe so.
Playing a little strategy here is one of our championship 4, as the other 3 will restart first through third. Dobbs gets us back up through the gears. Going to be 6 laps to go to close out stage number 2.
Oh, here we go. Now remember, stage points don't matter. It is just finishing position at the end of this one. So, but this sets us up for that final stage. Again, Peyton Holland is just flipping the stage. Why? Why not? Caution's out. Somebody else has hit the barriers. I'm not certain. Was it Kleinsma again?
Kleinsma again. This time looked like
he's got a lot of damage in the back. He's got a lot of damage on the rear end of that race car.
Been a tough night for the driver of the Mountain Dew Kickstart Chevrolet. At least the 3rd caution that he's been involved in. That car has been damaged on just about every single side. Turn 2's been his Achilles heel, but now looks like Turn 4 has played havoc with him as well.
One sec, I'll be right back. I'm just going to try and decide if this is stage.
Contact from Tom Bourne in the 16 sends him around. Manages to gather it up as it was pointed towards the inside wall, but sustaining damage on the right rear quarter panel. We'll take another look at it here. Exactly the caution that Peyton Holland, I would assume, wanted, because this is only about maybe 3/4 of a lap under green flag conditions on those tires, and if indeed this ends up being the end of the stage, then all the rest of these laps are under pacing.
Yeah, just about all of them. We'll get 1 lap. So this won't be staged. There will be 1 lap with the green. So it's just chatting away. Think about this from a NASCAR perspective. What would they be doing? They'd be discussing about it. Do we call the stage here? Do we call the stage here? So it's just down talking with the admins, trying to get getting that sorted.
Should have Christian
So,
Ruse
either
back
way-
on the lead lap once we get into the third stage. 2 laps down now. Should get the free pass here, and then would get the free pass under the stage yellow. Looks like a few drivers down pit road here, including Tom Bourne, Jeff Kleinsma, Matt Mettler, and Ryan Catalano, but still of those drivers that elected to stay out under the most recent caution, staying out here under this caution as well. There's Christian Ruse going
That's
around,
Ruse.
getting his lap
Yeah.
back.
This is a curious one. So we were all discussing it. We think there's, under the system, there's actually going to be a little bit more than that. I think we're going to have... So we're on lap 88. So there's going to be 2 laps to go here on this one. So this will actually be 2-lap shootout to the end of the stage. Few guys on fresh tires here. And we're talking... Well, here's the thing, Seth. Fuel will actually be critical to this final stage. Fuel will actually... We are right on the cusp. And the reason I say that is it's an 85-lap run to home from 90. A couple laps of the pacing. So anyone that's taken tires here, I expect to see them back down for fuel. Although we get any caution that sort of nullifies that. So it's really critical what goes on here.
Now we've seen a couple of drivers back during the 2/3 mark of the first stage come down and make green flag pit stops. A majority of the field have not, so it'd be interesting to see, in terms of that fuel window when we get into third and final stage, if it's under green flag conditions, maybe the lack of experience here tonight of those that have yet to make a green flag pit stop, if that would come into play and play to the strengths of those that have come to pit road under green flag conditions to their pit stall. As Dobbs gets us back underway. Lap 89 on the board, so to your point, a 2-lap shootout here before we will see the stage caution for the second stage here tonight, setting us up for the final one. Close there off of turn 2 as Jackson clears himself up across the nose of Patrick McQuaid for second place. McQuaid right now in third. Trey Whitehead running right down there as low as he can through 3 and 4, trying to get back up onto the podium, and a big run by Ryan White in the 34 right now in the 5th position.
I can tell you, Matt Mettler and Peyton Holland are both saving fuel, saving tire aggressively. They're wanting to put no mark on their tires whatsoever. They do not want to have those tires with 2 laps on them. This will work out. It will put them back up and ahead of the rest of the field, but it's a big risk. I think Peyton Holland's in a situation where he's doing that. He's doing funky things because, again, he just doesn't have the long-run speed to take with these guys. So he's trying to play his way so he's ahead of them, and he's forcing them into some silly decisions, which is smart. That is very smart.
There's the stage yellow for Alan Dobbs, Jackson, Whitehead, McQuaid, and White going to be the top 5. And now we get into the point of the race, specifically for the Championship 4, where it's basically make it or break it in terms of the strategy, in terms of maybe the timing of the restarts, the timing of where the future cautions might fall, and what you're able to do with your race car around the rest of your championship competitors. We know that the top 3 will be coming to pit road. Holland will be staying out. Gonna make things interesting here as we're on the home stretch to the championship here tonight at Homestead.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This race restarts, the field is going to be mixed, and you're going to have to be aggressive. But it's a tricky race tonight. This is not easy. Being up at front guarantees you nothing, and that's worthwhile pointing out.
Well, no, we ended up seeing Brock Whitehead battling for the lead with Alan Dobbs spin on the back straightaway, and he's now practically out of this race. So front of the field, middle of the field, rear of the field, these drivers have had to deal with the elements of Homestead Miami here tonight. As you see, the race leader formally, Alan Dobbs, bring the rest of the field down pit road. Matt Metler is going to stay out. Peyton Holland electing to come down pit road with these leaders. Now, I'm assuming he's going to probably go fuel only, however. Should cycle out to second place, I would believe. Well, looks like another driver also went with that same strategy, and Jeff Kleinsville. So Holland's actually going to come out second off of pit road and will be third for the upcoming restart.
Yeah. There was a bunch of cars that were that way as well. But again, just flipping the stage, just putting yourself in, he's got to do something. If this race runs green to the end and he's behind those guys, his championship is probably over, but he's driving to those facts. And think about what he's done across the entirety of the playoffs in terms of stage points. He drove to his outs. Might be a poker player or, a trading card game player thing, playing to your outs, but that's what he's had to do. But he's aware of those. I'm down on points and down on deficits. He's had to go with the wacky strategies that work for him. Every single time a alternative strategy window has opened itself up, Peyton Holland has had to put himself in a position where he's forced to take it. And it has worked for him every single time.
It's a really good point. You go back to Bristol, elimination race. He went into that below the cut line, played to the strengths that you're talking about, cashed in on stage points, and handily made his way in from the round of 12 into that round of 8. You look as well back at the elimination race at Auto Club. He had scored some tremendous points back a week prior at the Charlotte Roval to put himself in good position to advance into the next round. So yeah, just working with what he's given, and we've talked so much about that this season, where you have to basically look at the parameters of what you know you can do and don't overstep. You overstep, you're probably going to bin the race car and end your night, and that's what he's had to do. A couple of drivers here this evening. It's not been smooth sailing for our championship Ford. We mentioned Noah Jackson started from pit road, currently now up here inside of the top 5 for the restart. Trey White had an issue a couple of cautions ago, was at the rear of the field. Now he's back up here restarting in 6th, so it's not been without adversity for the drivers in the hunt for the championship, and now they get ready to be turned loose for the final run to the checkers. We got to stack up.
And Alan Dobbs was in it.
They all tried anticipating the start. They got stacked up in that outside line, and Dobbs got turned around in the middle of the pack.
So what happened was the control car was Matt Metler on the outside. And he waited to the end of the restart zone.
Dobbs was into the back of Peyton Holland, Noah Jackson into the back of him. That spun the 35 car around.
Huge stack up. That's massive championship implications.
I mean, watch this again. The 16 of Tom Bourne, second on the outside line. The 23 of Trey Whitehead. It's like they all expected Metler to go sooner.
Yeah, he waited to the end of the zone. The green came out, and then he went. Whitehead's got damage. Dobbs has got damage. Ton of cars have got damage here. And it's the championship guys. I think Peyton Holland's the only one with a clean race car.
This is on board with the 23.
Just watch. Watch for the end of the restart zone. We're in it. See how late he went? He waited until the end of the zone.
I mean, you could hear the contact in that onboard. We're going to get an onboard as well with the 35, but now you talk about damage sustained for a few of our championship drivers. to what extent is that going to affect their race cars for the remainder of this race?
Massively. But you can just see there's no one's really certain of what's going on. So normally what happens at a restart, you want to be as tight to the car to your outside as possible. And Kleinsman's not doing that. And he is under no objection to be up there. He doesn't have to be up there. He can do whatever he wants. But yeah, you're under no obligations to... All that matters is that you go when the leader goes. And for me, all of that happened.
Yeah, in the case there of Matt Mettler being the control car, you know, you can go as early or as late in that restart zone as you choose. He went at the very last moment. Everybody else was behind him trying to anticipate when he was going to go, and we saw the end result. Dobbs, it's like he spent roughly about 50 seconds on pit road getting damage repaired to his race car. A little under 40 seconds for Trey Whitehead. Noah Jackson came to pit road, but doesn't look like he stayed long enough for damage repair. Might have actually come down. Did he take on a set of tires? I'm seeing about 10 seconds on pit road for him.
That'd be more damage. Yeah. Anyone that's come back to pit lane is damage. I think everyone that had damage has cleared it. So, or the Championship 4 have cleared their damage. So I think that's okay. Noah Jackson actually looks like he might have a clean race car. He might be okay. But again, play into your outs.
Yep.
Matt Mettler and Jeff Kleinsman are not in the playoffs, and they have got no obligations to any of those guys. I think Mettler just went way too early that time. He's going to pick himself up a black. Yeah, he did. For jumping the restart. You know what? Noah Jackson just got to jump on the restart penalty as well.
Wow. And now he's 3 wide here off of 2, muscling his way to the outside of Tom Bourne and Jeff Kleinsma.
But there's 2 penalties. Well, I see one of them for Noah Jackson, one of them for Matt Mettler. Mettler jumped the restart.
Peyton Holland now the race leader after Mettler had that early launch prior to the restart zone. And Jackson's last lap, looks like in terms of lap time, was not scored.
Yeah, it's because of the penalty.
And so now what is the scenario for the 20 with that restart violation?
Well, I went back and I had a look at it and trying to make sure, because remember, I'm sort of got a little bit of an admin hat on the side of things, but I'm only here trying to make sure that everything's kept running. That's my only job whilst I'm sitting here commentating. Because my primary job is sitting here talking about the race with you. I went back over it. There was no violation for Noah Jackson. There was definitely a violation for Matt Mettler. He went before the restart zone. So he will come through the pit lane and serve a penalty. Either way, Alan Dobbs back to the point. Couple wild restarts.
Dobbs, Trey Whitehead, this could be for 3rd place. Saw these two duking it out in the early going tonight as Dobbs ran the top, Whitehead ran the bottom. Now battling to see who'll be the 2nd highest of the playoff contenders on track. Correction, the 3rd highest of the playoff contenders on track as Holland leads. Jackson right now in 2nd, starting to eat away at Peyton Holland's lead. Jackson, after starting this race at the rear of the field, missing the start from pit road, may over 100 laps later get his first lap led on the board as he's right up there in that upper seam. Very little room for error. Maybe about a foot off that seafoam green wall through 1 and 2. Nice rebound so far for Christian Ruse after having the connection problems earlier on. He and Tom Bourne battling for the 5th position. And Jeff Kleinsma, damaged on the front, damaged on the right rear. I think he's actually got some damage on the left rear as well. That car is still soldiering on in the 7th position.
It's still going on. And again, this is Noah Jackson. He's been quick, but he's been presented with an opportunity. As is Peyton Holland. So these guys are going to maximize their opportunity. But the other side of this story is if they fire off and burn up everything they've got, and that's been probably one of the better aspects of Dobbs and Trey Whitehead. Jackson's been quick. And again, another driver that's been quick. Oh, he got real sideways off it too. Again, it hopped that cushion into that third seam. As he crossed the seam, it was unsettled. It wasn't happy with that, and that's what's costing him. He is driving it hard right now.
Is that more so to the fact that he's trying to quickly get around Peyton Holland for that clean air, or he's seeing that other gold number 35 Camry looming larger and larger in the rearview mirror?
Well, I think the gloves should be off for everyone on the Whitehead Racing team this week. So for me, if I'm in Noah Jackson's perspective, again, this comes down to how he's managing this situation. Who's talking to him and telling him what to do, why. But for me, if I'm in his shoes, I'm aero blocking. Now, he's got a spotter in working with him. But I would just be trying to make the guys in my rear view frustrated, because I am confident that I can go out, if I get first dibs at having a crack at Peyton Holland. So I want to aero block that car behind me. Because if I can give myself the opportunity to have a crack at the 19, I can beat him on speed. As soon as he does, as soon as he do that, pulls right up alongside of him. But like I said, you just cannot afford, if we go 80 laps green to the end here, you cannot afford to burn those tires up. And the other thing, Seth, is remember what our fuel range is, 41 to 42 laps. You cannot afford to undercut either. You've got to run this tire all the way to the end. So I'm thinking about 40 laps from now. You know? Well, 30 laps from now.
Yeah, I mean, think about the situation for a couple of these drivers up here, Peyton Holland and Alan Dobbs. You go back to the conclusion, well, not the conclusion, but, you know, through the run of the first stage there, saw Peyton Holland and Alan Dobbs. They dove to pit road thinking that there was going to be green flag pit stops to close out the first stage. Caution comes out. Dobbs barely on the tail end lead lap. Peyton Holland was a lap down. Can't afford that type of a scenario here. Now, Holland, granted, a couple of the laps might have been under caution. We saw him play the alternative strategy, but right now, according to scoring, showing that he has 4 laps more on his tires than Noah Jackson. Does that force him into pitting a little bit sooner than some of the other drivers behind him, or do you think there were enough caution laps with the strategy he played, it puts him in the same window as them?
Look, with the way that everything played out, remembering that Peyton Holland ran 2 very, very slow laps to the end of the stage, right? So for me, his tires had the potential to be the same age, but I think he's protected them enough. My biggest concern about this lead group of 3 is this third car that's sitting right here, the one we're on board with right now, Alan Dobbs. And the reason I'm concerned with it is it is ranging up, and Jackson just about got there. This might be when he gets the pass done, but they're going to be even when they fire off down here into 1 and 2. Where does he go? I think you're going to see a slide job right here. But Dobbs, he's sitting back, he's watching these guys, and he's not racing that car as hard as he possibly can. Did he get there? They're going to touch? No.
That time through 1 and 2, Holland was able to get back to the throttle through the center of the corner.
You're racing for a championship. You've got to protect your own interests. And what I saw, there was 2 guys racing for a championship. Be interesting. It would not surprise me to see Dobbs slide up and try and take this one away here. Because again, teammates, but that went out the window after last week.
That's right.
Oh, he didn't get there. Brilliant. We got 63 laps left, sir. They're already racing like this.
Should we tell them that?
No.
Yeah,
and again, this is where Trey just sits back and he just goes, okay, all right, you guys are going at it. It is important to get track position because once you get clear, you are clear. But at the same time, you want to have tire, and racing somebody going too wide. Look at how Dobbs can't get all the way back out there. He has to turn the wheel harder off the exit. He can't accelerate as much. That wears tire. This is playing right into Peyton's hands. He's just going to be cool, calm. He's got the lead. If he thinks about this and the situation that's unfolding right now, Dobbs tried the slider. He checked him, and Jackson cut him a break.
Yes, he did. Jackson's going to have a big run here off of turn 2.
Knocked him over.
He's going to peek, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to go for it. I think he was hoping to maybe have a lane to get to the right rear quarter panel when they came off of 2 and the door got slammed. And now here comes Trey Whitehead to the inside of Noah Jackson. You know, we've obviously seen that outside line be more preferred. Oh!
This will change things.
More problems for Jeff Kleinsma. I believe he and Ryan White maybe have made some contact. And Kleinsma is going to bring it right down pit road there. It's been a tough night for him. And oh, are we right on the window maybe here? This caution's coming out at 61 to go.
20 laps. We are 20 laps too soon.
Oh boy.
I think this is fairly obvious. I think we got a pit here. What happened to Klein? He's not had a great night. He's had an oddly performing race car.
He was in 7th place at the time here. As soon as it came up off the wall, car got loose. Nowhere for the 34, Ryan White, to be able to go. Kleinsma brings it down to the attention of his crew here. 9th caution of the evening, 7th caution for cause, and right on cue. Everybody down pit road, being led by Peyton Holland, who overshot the stall a little bit there.
No! And you can see Trey Whitehead's car is actually up and off the jacks before his is. So he loses track position. That is not what he needed.
We'll have to see how he comes off of pit road. Was the leader. He's going to be lucky if he's 4th, which I don't think he even was that. I think he's going to be 5th behind Christian Ruse. A net loss of 4 positions for just that slight overstep of his pit stop markers.
That's all it takes. That is all it takes. 2 seconds longer through the pit lane, and everybody ahead of you had a perfect run.
And one of the biggest reasons why he was able to keep Dobbs and Jackson in the rearview mirror was because he had the clean air advantage. That is now gone, as he will be restarting back in at least the 3rd row on this restart.
So apparently there was crossover with drivers in behind. So that's, if we go back and probably have another look at the pit lane entry. So worthwhile keeping an eye on Peyton as he gets up here. So he was just a little bit nervous. Watch the 19 as he's coming in. And watch him when he turns into his stall. So Dobbs is actually the stall after Peyton Hollands. So remember, Hollands qualified 3rd, Dobbs was 2nd. And he just gets nerves get in the way. He didn't want to turn through him. You are ghosted in the pit stall, but that's all to do with Dobbs just turning in a little bit earlier. Dobbs was trying to create space, from what I heard on the radio, and Peyton was trying to look after the pair of them, and he cost himself. It's a championship, baby. You got to be aggressive. You got to chop that man's nose. You have first rights into the stall. You got to take them. .58 to go here tonight. Dobbs, the control car.
jumps from the bottom up to the top, right in front of Noah Jackson. Trey Whitehead now going to look to the inside for that position, trying to fight his way back up here to the front. Christian Ruse right in the middle of the Championship 4's battle.
It might just see Christian. I mean, Ruse has had a tough playoffs. He would feel like he should be here. So he's sort of racing, if I was in the Championship 4, what could I have made it from it? But, yeah. Holland's going to need another caution. And remember we were just talking about the undercut wasn't open before with the strategy and the way things were playing out. It is now. Because there is a fuel stop to get to the end on this one. If I'm in Peyton Holland's shoes, I got to come real early right at the front of the window and hope for no caution. Or I got to go real late and run it dry. You cannot afford to be in the middle as he makes a few mistakes. He catches the wall a couple times. And Christian Ruse is going to cut him a break.
Damage there on the right front after Holland was up and into the wall a bit there on the exit of turn 4. You talk about that potential undercut strategy for the 19 now after giving up that track position with the pit road miscue. We went back green just a little south of 60 to go. Would it be logical to do an undercut halfway through the run, kind of split it at 30-30, or do we have to get closer to that 20 laps to go mark?
So, here's the thing. These guys have burned off so there was 4 sets for the end of this race. They've burned through 2 of them. So all of them should still have 1 set up their sleeve. So there is that. But we've lost a lot of cars. So the fastest strategy is to connect the dots nice and evenly. And that is 30... that is the smart way to... Again, if you're in Peyton Holland's shoes... Oh, speaking of issues, there goes Noah Jackson. He's going to recorrect the track!
Everyone's going to avoid him. Wow.
Seth is 53 on the fuel window. Right now. I'll get the option to pit at the end of this one, which will be 52 to the end. So when we go back racing, it'll be 50.
3-4 green flag laps on these tires?
I don't think you're pitting for tires, but I think you got to come for fuel.
We were on board when it happened. Oh, he got the seam. He got the seam with the left rear.
It's discipline. That is driving discipline. It's challenging everyone tonight. We've seen everyone have issues tonight.
It's bad enough the feeling as we go on board of car coming around, but then almost the entirety of the field is in your rearview mirror barreling down on you as you're spinning off of 4. Watch this sight.
And he'd be thinking my championship's done right here. He was just waiting to get collected. That is not too bad. He can re-pick that race car back up and go again.
Matt Metler and Ryan Catalano both did a great job of splitting high and low to avoid making contact with the 20 as he came sliding back up into the racing line. And to your point, could very well have still preserved Noah Jackson's chances of winning this championship. Now granted, he fell all the way back to 9th after he was running in the 2nd position prior to his slide. And we've got a mixed bag of strategies here, Scott. Trey Whitehead from 2nd place elects to come down pit road and take on that precious fuel along with White, Davies, Jackson, and McQuaid. The top 5 stayed out.
Jackson had to, because there was a little bit of damage on the front right corner of his car. So he absolutely had to do. He absolutely had to do this strategy. From Trey, he's sitting there and going, I don't think I can beat or I can get the lead off of Allen right here. So I'm going to do something different. The other benefit for him is it means his final fuel stop is going to be a splash. You know, there is every opportunity that the splash and dash works. It is going to be a very, very short pit stop. It's going to be couple seconds. It's not going to be 10 seconds in the pit stop for fuel only. It's going to be, you know, 2 or 3. There's 7 seconds there is what this strategy opens up. But he's going to be very, very kind to these tires. At the same time, he's going to do the rest of the race on this tires for that strategy to work out. But again, he's now goal sitting. He can now run long. Again, we were talking already about how Peyton's driven this championship to his outs. Trey and the strategy he is on is playing to his outs. He doesn't win this race by going dueling with Alan Dobbs whilst Dobbs has the lead. That doesn't work. So he has gone for the other strategy. Have a look at where he restarts. He's 6th.
Now for these 5 that stayed out, are they of the thought process that they may catch another timely caution or 2 where they could save enough under pacing, not even have to come to pit road before the conclusion?
Well, there is still a pit stop here.
Dobbs elected the outside line. Peyton Holland will fill in the gap there right in front of Catalano. That's going to box Trey Whitehead in for the time being as they're stacked up for 2nd place on back. Christian Ruse to the inside of Holland. Whitehead to the inside of Catalano.
He's poking the nose 3. He wants by on Ruse. But again, think about the long run tires, and Ruse is going to give him the bottom here. I think he'll probably just roll out of it on the exit. Yeah, he will. So he'll give him the room. And he'll get the support of Christian Ruse. Again, that's good stuff. He recognizes the situation. Should clear Catalano off at 2.
And again as well, we talk about the responsibility of the playoff drivers, but you know, there's the responsibility for the non-playoff drivers as well. Absolutely. The non-playoff drivers want to win this race just as much, but they also have the responsibility of making sure that, you know, they race respectively the championship for. They don't want to be the determining factor into whether somebody's championship is won or lost here tonight.
Have a look at Peyton Holland too. He's coming back. He's throwing a little bit of tire at this. He's getting aggressive on the fresh set of tires. But he has driven the last couple laps to the back bumper of, you know, he's gonna throw the inside. That's it, buddy. Have a crack. What do you got to lose? And again, he's forcing Dobbs to do things he doesn't want to have to do.
Well, that was a nice center of the corner. Can he clear up off of 4? Not quite.
And Trey Whitehead's just sitting back here and going, have at it, boys. Have at it. This is what I want to see.
See Noah Jackson back there in 6th. He's trying to get around Christian Ruse, make his way back up into the top 5. It's been an adventurous night in the early going for Ryan Catalano, but he's up here in the top 5, currently in the 4th position. Was the driver last week that could not afford to have Peyton Holland go to victory lane. That knocked him out of the championship 4, but here tonight, up here with an opportunity in the conversation to maybe get his first victory of 2025 in the last race of the season. This looks like, at least for the moment, that rhythm, that momentum on the top side's gone away for Peyton Holland. He's trying to get back, but trouble in the back. That is Matt Davies and Patrick McQuaid that have gotten together off of turn 2.
Davies will be done. That is his car definitely done for the day. And I don't know about McQuaid. Hey, Seth, there's 45 laps on fuel here.
Oh,
they can get 41 to 42.
Couple of metallic orange cars getting
tires
together here, bringing out this most recent yellow.
You know, there's a couple drivers here who come for fuel only. Yet again.
I think the 23 would maybe be on that list. Well, no, actually, he only came down for fuel the last time.
I would love to see, again, play to your outs. I would love to see Peyton Holland come here for tire. And I would love a max fuel save strategy. Again, play to your outs. It is difficult. It is going to be about 3 or 4 laps of fuel you have to save. But it is doable.
I feel like it's been a running narrative for us at the Speedway tracks this season If you do what the leaders do, you're never going to pass them. And we've seen a lot of varying strategy here tonight amongst our Championship 4. Alan Dobbs has kind of seemed to be the benchmark, the measuring stick that everybody else has kind of gauged their strategies off of.
Oh, Trey's taking his last set of tires.
Yes, he is. So is Peyton Holland.
No, I think Peyton's got one left.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. Matt Mentler, I think, took fuel only.
Yes, he did. Dobbs and Metler were the only two that took fuel. Everybody else put on a set. Holland coming off pit road 3rd. Trey Whitehead in 4th. And Christian Ruse will be 5th. Noah Jackson looks like he came up pit road in 7th position. Right
so Noah
behind Ryan
Jackson
Catalano.
and so I'll give you what I think has happened. So stage 1, everybody only used one set. Stage 2, most of the field took one set. There was a couple drivers, they're not in contention anymore, so you can put a line through them. So that leaves us with 4 sets for the back half of the race. Now, I'm fairly confident that I've seen 3 pit stops from Whitehead and Jackson for tires. They've taken at least 2. I don't know why Alan Dobbs did not take tires there. That seems a mistake to me. That absolutely seems a mistake. Because he should have one more bank set than most of the guys that flip the strategy should be on none or one set of tires at most. But he should have 2 by my reckoning.
Do you think he was of the assumption that most everybody was going to come down for fuel only, that nobody was going to take on the tires? Or was this a case of everyone doing the opposite of what the leader does? If he had taken on tires, would we have seen a majority of the front runners go with fuel only?
No. I think you needed to take tires. For the guys that stayed out there, there were 17, 18 laps on tires. You sort of had to with the situation you're in.
Well, let's see how this one plays out. Your front row took fuel only. Everybody else behind took on 4 fresh Goodyears. Green flag back in the air. Closing in on 40 laps to go here tonight in our season finale. And we're going to get an idea of the difference of tires right here, right now, as Whitehead had cleared into 2nd place.
And Trey Whitehead's sponsor was actually out in the chat earlier. Travels by GD entry. Cheering him on. Well, admittedly, if we see another yellow, Trey Whitehead's day is probably done. But if this goes green at the end, there is every opportunity that Trey Whitehead might win this one. Pavel, look at how aggressive they are in the midfield.
Wow. Jackson up the middle. Thought about making another 3 wide with Peyton Holland, who's up and into the outside wall here through 1 and 2. Now here comes Jackson side by side for 3rd.
There's fuel saving as well. Don't forget, we are still beyond the fuel window. And you run the best pace for the whole run if you save early. If you save late, you have to save a massive amount later on. This is not done. If any of you had sat here and thought, oh, well, Alan Dobbs has got the lead, he's got this one under control. It is not done.
Just kind of watching the interval here, it looks like Trey Whitehead, he's just kind of keeping it a steady 6.5 tenths to 7 tenths of a second between himself and Dobbs, kind of backing the pace down here a little bit. To your point, saving fuel, maybe planning for these fresher tires to be his advantage on the second half of this run. Peyton Holland, on the other hand, I'm not sure he is saving. He's on the charge here as he's going to move to the outside of Trey for 2nd place.
He was so quick on that last lap. You know, half the field is saving, Seth. I reckon they're all fuel saving. And Peyton Holland's the only one that's going, well, get out of there. I'm going for it. If we get any caution in this, he will lead. I just don't know that he has a set of tires to go to.
wearing out the right side. That Toyota Camry up and into the fence that time through 3 and 4. Runs a little bit further away from the outside wall through 1 and 2, and he'll get the run to clear for second place. Whitehead now slams the door as here comes Noah Jackson, who looks like he's running a similar pace to the 19. Looks like he also may be charging to the front here, not quite in his heart of fuel save mode as some of the others.
Christian Ruse, loose off of 4. I gotta believe that Alan Dobbs and Trey Whitehead are both fuel saving. Well, no, sorry. I reckon this is all the pace Dobbs has. Trey is fuel saving. Again, play to your outs.
Now, if you're Peyton Holland, right now it does
You
not
gotta
look like
rattle
he's
this cage.
saving fuel. If he gets
No,
up
he's not.
here in front of Alan Dobbs, you talked about you want to do the fuel saving early. Would there be, let's say he gets this pass done the next 2 or 3 laps, and he's able to maintain enough of a pace and clean air ahead of Dobbs to start going into fuel save mode. Are there enough laps for him to be able to save the number that he's lacking?
No, for me, no. And the other thing is, once you get the lead, you have the worst fuel mileage of the field.
Great point.
But have a look at that second pack. There is the guys we haven't talked about. So there's 4 guys up here at the lead, which is our championship 4. Ryan Catalano is just crawling around back there. Could he make it on fuel?
Been a while since we've had ourselves a fuel strategy race in the closing stages. Could be setting up for one here tonight in the 2025 finale.
The other thing, Seth, is anyone running the outside lane will not make it on the fuel. If you're going to make it on fuel, it's on the bottom.
About 5 laps ago, correction, about 10 laps ago, Matt Davies brought his machine to the garage area. He will finish out the season with a DNF in 11th. Tom Bourne has also retired from the race, along with Brock Whitehead and CJ Papa. We've got 10 drivers on the racetrack, 9 of them on the lead lap right now. Bunch of drivers dealing with damage in some way, shape, or form, whether it was involved in some earlier incidents, some restart stack-ups, or in the case of Peyton Holland and a couple of others, just wearing out the right sides with that seafoam green paint, courtesy of the outside safer barrier.
Trey's saving tire as well, so he didn't fire off all that quick. I just don't know, Seth. I got nothing for you, because the only thing that happens from here is we just gotta watch and wait and let it play out. But I can tell you for a fact, he's not shifting. Anyone that's been on the bottom of the racetrack tonight has been shifted. He is not shifting. That is one way that you save more fuel.
In that higher 5th gear, he's not going to be able to run the bottom like he'd want to this time, because he has Noah Jackson crossing him over to the inside this time for the 3rd spot.
But there's no fuel save there, because Jackson, if he was fuel saving, Jackson would have got him and cleaned him comfortably. So he's thinking about tires. And I just messaged the spotter for Jackson and Dobbs, and he just said they both can't make it. Neither of them are saving.
Wow.
I reckon there is a fuel save window out there. If this goes green the whole way, somebody makes it on fuel. Somebody will try it, because why not? Might be Ruse. Might be Chris Ruse, actually. I'm keeping half an eye on him. He's been sinking like a stone.
It's the end of the season. There's nothing after this next week. Points are calculated and done and dusted when the checker flag waves here tonight. So why not? Roll the dice.
I gotta be honest, it is tough. It is going to be extremely tough to make it on fuel. But I think it is doable. come to the end of this lap, which will be 30 to go, which would make it 45 laps on fuel. 2 of those were on the pace car. I reckon they could do it. I reckon it is possible, is what I will say. It is possible. Is it probable? I do not know.
So with the 35, the 19, you can even throw the 20 into the conversation. With them racing as hard as they are, Peyton Holland trying to get around Alan Dobbs. Is this the race for these two to see who is going to be the leader when those pit stops take place? Try and get the track position now on the racetrack rather than try and get it with maybe a 1 or 2 lap undercut on pit road.
And I think Peyton Holland just fed the bumper to Alan Dobbs, because remember, he's on older tires. He's on 15-lap older tires than the next 3 in behind him.
Trey Whitehead's been watching this all go down with Peyton Holland putting the pressure on Alan Dobbs. And now it looks like Peyton's center corner speed may have faltered just a little bit because Trey Whitehead is putting the pressure on him for the runner-up spot. Has he worn those tires out already? Could maybe the damage of getting up into the wall, could that be affecting that car now?
He's pushing limits. Again, this is Peyton, again, driving to what... I don't think he needed to do this. I'm going to be honest with you, Seth. I think this is nerves in this situation.
Again, up and into the wall there through the center of 3 and 4.
Yeah, they're gone. That front right is gone. He doesn't look loose anymore. He looks tight.
Obviously, in the case for Alan Dobbs, if you can't make it on fuel, you're probably hoping that a caution comes out so that you can make that pit stop under yellow, maybe draw everybody down pit road with you. How long can you wait for that caution to save you before you absolutely are going to have to make the dive?
If you're going to use tires, you have to come anytime about now. Because, and that's Alan Dobbs' benefit right now, but it is a couple laps dash worth of splash. And we were talking just previously, it wasn't a lot of splash and dash that we had to go to the end. Well, that's come down even less. It is just a touch of the can to the car. I think there's maybe a second and a half worth of fuel that they have to add to these cars now. So do you take tires? And if so, what tires? We've seen a lot of abuse in the right rear. One of the right fronts probably taking some beating. But these next-gen cars as well also use the left-hand side tires more than the Xfinity cars and the trucks do, and then the Gen 6s do. All their loading was on the right side tires. So do you take 2? I think if you want to win the race, you got to take 2. But the fuel stop is going to be shorter than taking 2 tires.
And that's the question of the amount of time that you spend on pit road. Whether you do fuel only or whether you take tires, would there be enough laps for you to be able to make up the ground? Obviously, the pace would be slowed of the driver that's trying to make it on fuel, but would there be enough time to be able to run them back down?
Dobbs got air loose. Trey's going to get him! They're
into Dobbs! The top 2 have wrecked. Peyton Holland is spinning around the back straightaway. 3 of the championship 4.
Does Holland have a set of tires? Because he's got a clean car. Does Dobbs have a clean car? Because he definitely got the
I don't
fence.
think so. No, he got the outside wall with the right front for sure. And I think Trey Whitehead did as well.
So all that got kicked off because Dobbs got aero loose. Trey was that close to him. He was dumping. He was taking downforce up that rear spoiler. And then he hopped the seam, and the car was loose. So watch this. Watch Dobbs is here. It's midway through the corner. Right there. Loose. He saved it, and then Trey got up and above him and got loose.
That directed him down into the right rear quarter panel of Dobbs. They both go up and get the outside wall. Peyton Holland got hard on the brakes. That's why he spun around.
But he was desperately just trying to keep the thing out of the fence. So this will eliminate it down to a two-man race if they've got tires. This comes down to who's got tires and who's not got tires, because that was a 20-lap run. You want tires.
Take
This
a look at
eliminates the fuel
this.
game.
Out the windshield of Peyton Holland. There's the loose for Dobbs. There's the loose for Whitehead. And look how close he was to making contact with the nose of his race car to the outside wall.
And you know, Peyton Holland has a set. Noah Jackson, Peyton Holland both have a set.
And Jackson, who inherited the lead after the contact between his two teammates, went from third to the point with those four freshies. First one off of pit road, and this restart will be with less than 20 laps to go for driver number 20. Dobbs and Whitehead are still in their stalls getting damage repaired on their respective Camrys.
Oh boy. What a championship race though.
It's completely turned on its head. As now, two of the strongest cars of the night in Whitehead and Dobbs, now they're the ones playing from behind. It's been Jackson and Holland who've been playing from behind most of the night, and now they're the ones in control.
Well, see, Trey he got released before this pace car get there. So for me, I think he's okay. I think his car's back to clean. Ryan White's going to be up here and have a crack at leading some laps as well. Short pit stop for Ryan White. I think he had a lick of damage, which he's either gotten sorted or he bad entry to the stall. But fuel only for him. I think he's going to lead us green, you know?
He is indeed going to be the control car. I'd have to look back, but I believe these are going to be the first laps led on the season for Ryan White in the 34. It's been up in the top 10 all night. Might have been one of those looking to save fuel. Could have, maybe if we'd gone green to the end, maybe made it and nabbed himself a top 5, but now going to lead us to the green flag right at 20 laps to go. And back to your point. Back to your point about the amount of time that Dobbs and Whitehead spent on pit road, roughly about the same amount of time that Christian Roux spent on pit road earlier on, and we see he's still got top 5 speed.
I think there's still damage on Dobbs' car. So he's going to need another caution to get himself back to pristine. But he's got an okay race car, and he's had brilliant speed, as he has done all season. Jackson's so desperate to get clear at the front.
Whitehead's going to clear Mettler. Move him into 5th. Holland in 4th. Jackson does not have that preferred lane up in the middle to outer groove. Still not clear off of turn 2. This is helping. Whoa, we got trouble back there. Was that Dobbs?
Indeed it was.
Caution waves again. And I believe at the time of yellow, the 34 was just ahead of the 20. Scoring is indeed saying Ryan White ahead of Noah Jackson, so he would be the control car again on the upcoming restart, provided he doesn't pit under this yellow. Let's go back and see what happened to Dobbs. I just saw his gold number 35 Toyota shoot off to the right. I don't know if he had contact or lost it on his own. Here's a look as he was to the inside of Matt Mettler off the second corner, and it just comes out from underneath him.
Scene. That's right, I'm not seeing that hop I was talking about. That's bit so many people tonight.
Great job though, using all that runoff. Got the car spun back around, no contact with any other driver, no contact with the outside or inside wall. You mentioned he needed a caution. I don't think he planned on being the caution, but it is just the yellow that might get him back into the hunt.
Well, there's 17 laps to go here.
Jeff Kleinsma's going to get the free pass. Multiple laps down is Jeff Kleinsma. This will put him at -6.
Think about Chris Roos as well. He leveraged internet issues rules to be back on the lead lap.
And he's had, ever since getting back on the lead lap, he's had top 5 speed here this evening. We had a list midway through the season of drivers that showed consistent pace during the course of the race that we could see win on any given night. Christian Roos was on that list, and he has shown top 5 speed really the second half of the playoffs here. Could tonight be the night? Get that first win of 2025 to close out the season here at Homestead. Kind of play a championship spoiler where the race winner and the champion may not necessarily be the same driver.
I would think about what's going to happen next year as well in terms of playoff structure. And this race right here is one of the reasons that with seeing that discussion and that debate as well. There's so much that's happened in this race. It's not being the championship 4 at the front the entirety of the race. Now they've got issues. Best driver on the season's at the back end of the field. Playing to his outs. Or himself alive.
So Noah Jackson got a little bit of an idea of what Ryan White is able to do being that control car on the outside line. What adjustments can he maybe make here on this upcoming restart to make his life a little bit easier in trying to get around that 34 on the inside line with the tire advantage?
Look, I mean, he's gonna drive. He's gonna get clear. That's straight and simple. All he's gonna do. So, I expect a slide job here. I think it's warranted in the situation that he's in, because if he can get clear, he's away. But also have a look at where Peyton Holland's restarting. He's right behind the control car. It is a lot tougher to launch from the inside as the non-control car. So, keep your eyes on this one. But yeah, I think Jackson's going to try and get clear. If he doesn't, Holland's going to be a huge threat. Holland got a great restart.
Bumped the wall
That's
a little
what he
bit
needed
there as well as he was trying to get those tires to grip. Ryan White leading. The battle for second is for the championship, though.
Oh. Trey Whitehead was all out of shape as he slid back up the grooves off of 2. Dobbs is back to 7th. So he's still in this one as well. Don't count him out just yet, but time is running out, and he's on the back foot.
Oh, this is going to hurt Peyton Holland. He and the 34 were up into the wall in 3 and 4. Ryan White's going to get freight train now as Jackson goes to the lead. Holland looks to clear for second. Whitehead to go into 3rd place.
I think Alan Dobbs has got a clean race car now. No, it's not clean. So he's still suffering. There's nothing he can do about that now.
Peyton Holland again.
How about Peyton Holland?
He is using every inch of the racetrack and then some.
And the worst part for him is that his front end just switches off in the dirty air right here. So he's got to offset slightly, but he's on the offset that he can do lower, which is non-preferred. And that's why Trey's going to slide past him.
Noah Jackson moving low, trying to cut off that clean air, allow that drive off. He saw that little wiggle right there with the front end of the 23 coming up off of 4.
Blocking him.
How many eyes are out the windshield of the 20 car right now?
Very little. Very little. And this just keeps bringing Peyton Holland back into this as well. He wants to see these guys go at each other. If I'm Trey, I know he's going to block me. So I want to fake like I'm going to the top. He loves that bottom groove. But if no one knows exactly what he's going to do, it's very, very easy to block. So he's gonna start making him think. Okay, Jackson ran the top this time.
And again, remember what happened a couple of cautions ago where that aero blocking was going on. The lead car got loose off of 2. The following car got loose immediately afterwards. They made contact, and both made contact with the outside wall. Got to be careful here on this aero blocking. I've noticed a couple of times right there. 23 really pushes up off the corner, and the back end does not want to stay, but he's going to get to the outside of Jackson as Trey Whitehead.
Yeah, but Noah Jackson got loose. That's what it was all about. Have a look at Peyton Holland diving his way back into this. They are nearly 3 wide at the point. This is what we waited 165 laps for. A championship battle and throw a blanket over the 3 of them, and here comes the 19.
3 wide, down the backstretch and into 3. Holland on the bottom, sends it in, clears it up.
Got to.
Oh, runs out of room, into the wall. Keeps
but he got it.
Going.
He got the lead. Oh, God. Race commentator. I want to be a spectator watching these guys go at it. How much damage did the 19 do to his right rear? The 20's loose. He's got no race car left. Who's going to win this? The 23's loose. They make contact.
Good stuff for the win. Good stuff for the championship. Holland, who got in on a last-ditch effort. A must-win last week at Dega. Trey Whitehead, who's won during the playoffs. Noah Jackson, who's ever had to overcome adversity multiple times to get to the Final Four. Throw a blanket over him with 8 laps to go.
And the 19 was nervous. He was so nervous 160 laps ago. Before qualifying, I was talking to him whilst he was rolling out for his qualifying laps, and he was nervous. Well, amp things up. I said to him, hey, buddy, do what you got to do. No one expects you to win this thing. Everyone's counting you out. Go out there, drive your best race. There is no pressure on you. If you finish 4th, everyone expects you to finish 4th. These guys are expected to beat you. And they are having so much difficulty getting there on the 19.
The 19's got the clean air now. Remember, he held off Jackson and Dobbs using that outside line with the clean air. If he can keep it off the wall, he might be able to keep him at bay. Super loose that time off of turn 2.
And the teammates behind each other are fighting. And this is what Peyton wants to see. Everyone, look at the way they fan out entering the corners. They're all looking for clean air. Trey's got no momentum when he comes back up the straights. This time he's going to shut the door. 6. There are 6 laps in this championship, Seth, and I still cannot. All season long, we've had races where I could have told you who was going to win it. We have not had that yet tonight.
Loose on the bottom off of 2 that time. Big wiggle for Trey Whitehead. Holland opens up some distance. You saw up ahead the 15 of Jeffrey Kleinsma. How much would that slower car affect the clean air that the 19 is currently enjoying?
Both of the cars behind him, though, they've burned up their tires. If Kleinsma get to these guys, I would love to see Jeff Kleinsma just dive to the bottom of the track and completely get out of their way. He knows. He's so many laps down. He knows he's not a part of this race, and he's going to try and do that. But there will be dirty air before we get there. And the 23's tires are gone. He can't get the drive off the corner he needs anymore. He can't maintain the speed.
With him running the bottom, that takes away the inside line for Noah Jackson. He's kind of shading up the middle.
Jackson just lost the rear end of the car.
Oh, and he saves it. He's going to drop back out of the top 3, though, as Christian Ruse is going to get around him. Alan Dobbs will do the same. It's now down to 2 drivers for this championship with 3.5 laps to go here tonight at Homestead. Holland on the top, Whitehead on the bottom.
And they're still going at each other. I think Trey's right rear. He's got a lot of right front. He just gets to the gas so much better. Trey's come back at him. 3 to go.
Take a look who's in the 3rd position in Alan Dobbs. If it comes down to a situation where Trey on the final lap may have to pull a slide job on Peyton Holland for the championship and the 2 make contact, is Dobbs close enough to get by the 2 of them if their momentum slows enough?
Right now, no, and they were quicker than him on that last lap.
Oh, Stray
And
might
Jeff
be
Klein
clear
says, "Get out
up.
of the
He
way."
might be clear, not quite.
But he's starting to come back at it. He's saved that right rear a little bit more again. Two, Seth.
Big
There
send
is
into 1 and
3
2.
mile.
He's clear. Can he get up before Holland gets back to the throttle? Yes, he can.
He wants the bottom. And this is what I said. This is where the right fronts are gone. This time by white flag. All season long has come to this.
Holland into the wall, that time off of 4. Still gets a great run off the corner. He'll get to the right rear. Going through 1 and 2. Does Holland have another buzzer beater in him tonight at Homestead? Whitehead clear off of 2. About half a car length between the two down the back straightaway.
He's got to have a dive at him. He's got to absolutely drive the 3 and 4 of his life. He's in the barriers. He's throttling. He's doing everything he can. Does he have the momentum? No, he doesn't.
Does not. Off of 4. Peyton Holland gave it a yeoman's try, but Trey Whitehead is going to pick up the win. He is the 2025 champion of the Grind Cup Series tonight at Homestead.
And you got to feel for Peyton Holland. You got to feel for him. But again, put himself in the right spots. Gave himself every opportunity. Think about the 23. He's not had a great season. He's been in an opportunity to win a lot of races this season. I think it took him real late in the championship to finally get it done.
I believe only 2 wins on the season. 1 during the regular season, 1 during the playoffs, and that was at the Super Speedway at Atlanta. And his 3rd win is a big one tonight, as it nets him the championship in the Grind Cup Series, and that inside line that he had been so faithful to all race long from start to finish was enough to get him by Peyton Holland, hold off the hard-charging 19, and Trey Whitehead, a la Alan Kulwicki, going to do a Polish victory lap here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Everything you wanted in a championship battle here tonight. All 4 drivers at one point made up the top 4. We had varying strategies, and we had a heck of a battle amongst the top 2. Even the top 3. You could throw Noah Jackson in there before he had his loose sensation off of 4 in the final 10 laps of this race.
He's celebrating. He's enjoying. And Peyton Holland's going to get back out there and celebrate with him, and he deserves to. This was a tough race tonight. How good was the racing? You take the championship out of it, it was good racing. It was just good racing all around. But to have the top 4 throw punches at each other, mate. If Peyton Holland would have won that one, I think he owed Noah Jackson a 6-pack. Because he gave him the opportunity to win that one. As much as Noah Jackson was trying to win the championship for himself, and that's what he was doing. That opened the door. And I'm so proud of him. Again, we talked about it. The underdog story. What an underdog story. He drove an amazing race. And again, I guarantee we'll talk to him in a few moments. I get to win a championship, though, if I was in Peyton's shoes, I would have put the bumper to him. He tried running the wall. You know, but that was just a brilliant race. That last 15 laps. What a race. What a series. What a championship. Drama. We had so much drama on the championship. But it played out that way. That was supreme.
Incredible exclamation point on the season as Trey Whitehead parks his race-winning and championship car prominently on the start-finish line. And we're going to be talking with him and our podium finishers in a moment, which will comprise of 3 of our 4 championship drivers, Holland and Dobbs, closing out the top 3. Christian Rue's going to bring it home in 4th. Ryan White, believe this is his first top 5 on the season. What a time to get it here in the finale. So he'll bring it home in 5th. Matt Metler, great run in 6th. Ryan Catalano in 7th. Patrick McQuaid was 8th. Noah Jackson, saw him have that moment off of 4. He'll finish in 9th here tonight. And Jeff Kleinsma was the last driver to finish under power, completing the top 10. These 4 drivers did not see the final checkered flag of the season. Davies, Bourne, Whitehead, and Papa all out of the race, 11th through 14th here this evening. But what an incredible race here tonight to close out the 2025 season. That is going to take us into our FRN post-race wind down. And let's see if we can dial up the drivers here this evening. Looks like we've got 2 of our podium finishers here. So let's get a hold of the driver that brings it home oh so close to the championship, 2nd place tonight in Peyton Holland. Hey Peyton, Scott and Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got y'all.
I'll tell you what, you threw everything at the 23 except for the kitchen sink. Maybe you threw the kitchen sink at him, I don't know. Wore out the right side of that race car up against the wall. You seem to really like that high line there. You took the send on the high side there going into 3 on the final lap. If you could do it over again, is there anything you'd slightly do different on that top line, or would you maybe have tried your luck on the bottom?
Man, if I didn't just rub the wall the whole time I hadn't won, I'm just disappointed in myself. So
we saw you play a lot of strategy here tonight. Aside from what a lot of the other Championship 4 were doing, at times when they would take tires, you would gain the track position on fuel. When they would try to get the track position on fuel, you would take the tires. Up here in the conversation this evening, it's got to feel good to be able to be up here with these guys, almost be able to take this championship when 1 week ago we didn't even know if you were going to be competing in the Championship 4.
yeah, I was trying to play it a little different. I'm just, man, that sucks. It sucks really bad. I just can't. I wish I could do that lap again, you know. But no, I just definitely wanted to try something different. I knew once after about stage 2, I knew I had to do something different because they were just beating me on the long run, beating me on speed. I was with them. I just couldn't get that lead. The clean air was too important, man. It was so important, and I couldn't run the bottom. I sucked at it, and I definitely. I don't know. I had to run the top just to have any speed, and it killed my long run, and that's just, I don't know. It's just unfortunate.
Look, Peyton, I mean, for you right now, obviously it's going to sting. It's going to hurt. But I got to be honest, I think that's the most laps you've led this season. I think that's the best you've driven this season. And again, something which Seth and I talked about all night long is, you know, we've gotten to this point, and every single stage of the playoff, you've been aware of the hole that you've been in and what you've had to dig yourself out of. The fact that you even got here was brilliant. You know, talking to you prior to tonight, we talked about nerves. We talked about driver mentality. And you were rolling out in your qualifying lap, and I could hear how shaky you were in that. But you put down the best qualifying lap you put down all season. You've driven one of the best races. And one of the things we talked about was driving to your outs. You've driven the playoff series to your outs. You found another gear. I don't know what it was, but we, you know, when you draw up a set of 8, I didn't have you in the 8. I didn't have you in the 4. You know, and every single time you've gone, okay, somebody else is having a bad day. Keep my head on, do what I can. For me, you'll look back on this one but the only reason you got there was because you got opportunistic and you kept driving to your outs. So I know it'll sting. I know it'll be frustrating. And believe me, I have so many second place championships in NASCAR. It's not funny. And I've never won a damn thing, mate. So the fact that you are here, the fact that you've beaten the drivers you've gotten to here, like, to me, this is one of the best races I've ever seen you drive. And you played to your outs all night long, brother. So look, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna sting. Man, talk me through the nerves, managing the nerves. I think right at the start, were you nervous that last run? I feel like you were.
Like I said earlier, I'm definitely the most nervous person in Alabama, and I caught myself getting nervous like towards that, about those 5 to go, and I'm leading. I'm like, man, this is. I mean, you got to know that, like, that's new. I hadn't done that all season. Been leading with 5 to go. I hadn't done it all season. So I caught myself trying to take a deep breath, just try to chill. I even tried saving a little bit. I was like, let's not mess up. And I messed up when it counted, but definitely could feel the nerves. I wouldn't say it affected me hard, but it definitely was there. And luckily I got some great teammates cheering me on. So they were helping me a lot, but it's just unfortunate. But nerves were there. That's normal. I'm sure Trey had nerves. I'm sure Dobbs had nerves. I'm sure Jackson had nerves, but definitely nervous.
You ride those last 20 laps with me in the back seat cheering you along every step of the way, brother. You have no idea how much of a fan of yours I was for the back end of this race. So congratulations. P2 is going to sting, but if you'd have finished that race tonight, P4, you would have sat there and gone, okay, yeah, we got here. So P2 is disappointing, but think about what it could have been, and you'll celebrate P2 in the weeks to come, I'm sure.
I appreciate it. Definitely stings right now, but maybe next season will be a good little motivation.
Well, as Scott said, an incredible playoffs for you here, Peyton. Congratulations on getting here into this championship four. You made it a privilege to be a spectator of this race in these closing stages. An incredible race to the finish, whether it was for the championship or just for the race win alone. We'll now give it the opportunity for some thank you sponsors and shout-outs.
Well, thank you anybody that's watching, anybody that watched that whole race, anybody that had to watch me mess it up in the last turn, but appreciate all y'all for watching. Anybody watching that knows me. Appreciate all my teammates. Ryan and Davies did an awesome job tonight. Definitely helped me out. Definitely was a little motivation I needed. Definitely I wouldn't say I was the most confident, and they definitely cheered me up. Thank you, Redline Racing Network. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a championship, but I got you second, so that's second best. So, but thank you, Hupka. Thank you, Metler. Thank you, Trey. I know he just beat me, but he gave me a good looking car for tonight. Hupka's gave me a good car all season. I want to thank Seth and Scott and Matthew. Y'all had some, absolutely amazing broadcast. It actually makes me want to watch. I'm actually going to watch this. As bored as I am, I'm going to watch it just because I want to hear y'all's voice. But that's all of my thank yous. I appreciate y'all having me up here, and I hope to do better next season.
Well, Peyton, congratulations on a tremendous season overall, and yeah, tremendous momentum going into 2026 with what you were able to accomplish here. So best of luck there.
Yes, sir.
Peyton Holland, second place here tonight. Let's go down to not only race victory lane, but championship victory lane and talk with the champion of the 2025 Grind Cup Series, Trey Whitehead. Trey, it's the guys up here in the FRN booth. If you got a copy.
Oh my God, I've got you.
Okay, so it sounds like it hasn't even sunk in yet. A tremendous battle in the final 10 laps of this race. Yourself, Holland, Jackson at 1.3 wide down the back straightaway going into turn 3. You had to overcome some adversity here tonight. At one point, we saw you towards the back of the pack, had to work your way back up. You had the contact there between yourself and Dobbs off of turn 2. Had to get that little bit of damage repaired, work your way back forward again. Talk about the fight here tonight to get back up not only into the conversation, but to finally get your back bumper cleared across the nose of Holland in the closing stages.
First and foremost, my apologies go out to Alan. I was fully intent on racing him pretty clean there to the end, and we were pretty close on fuel, and it was just going to be an exciting finish. I don't know. The car kicked sideways coming off the corner, and at that point where we were, cutting back to the right wouldn't have done anything, and hitting the brakes, I don't think would have done anything either. So unfortunate. Yeah, I just hate it because that's obviously a teammate, and yeah, we're all fighting for a championship, and I hate for his season to end that way, and hopefully we can repay him at some point for that. But yeah, that fight at the end, I had to go 3 wide on that restart and get by Roos and all them, and just try to I really tried my hardest to make that bottom work the entire race, saving tires and yeah, doing all that, and we were actually able to go a little bit longer on fuel, which is why we were good on that last run, just because of the off throttle time. But yeah, man, Peyton was no slouch. He was ripping the fence, and I would get to his inside, and I could only throttle up so much, and then he'd have that run on the outside. I was just hoping I didn't heat up the right rear too much, and yeah, that 3 wide move. I think we were coming up on Noah. I got a run on him, and then Peyton, I didn't even see he had a run on me. I went low on Noah, and, and he went low on me. And I knew that I was middle three. I had to back that entry up a lot because Peyton was going to send it, and was able to kind of hold it on the bottom. And yeah, it was just a dogfight. I mean, I cannot wait to go back and watch this like 85 million times because I feel like that was the best racing I've ever seen. And just to be a part of it and come out on top of it was icing on the cake.
Scott and I were talking about this too. Not only was this a great championship battle, but it was a great race in terms of a finish. I mean, we could have put this as a regular season finale. We could have had this towards the middle beginning of the season as a points race to try to get into the playoffs. When you're in that type of a fight like you were here tonight, how much are you thinking this is for the win? How much are you thinking this is for the championship?
I will tell you what, and DJ was able to spot for me. Him and I have been friends for a while, so having him call me half an hour before the race and ask if he could have the privilege to spot for me, that was very very nice of him, and we were able to obviously get it done. But he was just telling me it was me and Peyton. There was no mention about racing for the win. This was the championship, and you have to pass him or you're second, and second is just the first loser. So obviously we came into this looking at we made the championship four. My team put 3 of 4 cars in the final 4, and we were going to be happy with whatever happened, but obviously we're elated for me as the team owner to be able to bring the championship, the first one of this team's history, to the team and in this league. And obviously I won't be racing next year. I'll have a bigger role doing stuff for the league, which I'm excited about for sure. And riding off into the sunset with a championship. I mean, I don't think it ends any better than that. So,
look, I think one of the big things is, and we talked about it across the duration here tonight as well. You walked away, and when you come into a championship race and you got 3 drivers on the team, it's every man for himself. It is absolutely every man for himself. It's not easy to manage that relationship. There is. Anytime I've seen a team walk into this situation, there have been feelings hurt at the back end of things. So, I mean, that's something you guys are going to have to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's racing. I don't know what more can be done. I think you got to go in hard. You got to race. You're racing for a championship at the end of the day, and I think that's what really matters. Is I think we all would have been disappointed if you didn't race it hard. I think Alan would have been disappointed if you just gave it to him. So it comes with that risk and that element of. That's the way things were, but hey, if he took tires in a different situation, he's not in that situation. So, everyone was racing to their outs, and that's racing, baby. That's why we love this sport, right?
Yeah, there. And you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, it was definitely every man for themselves. I obviously wasn't even able to be in this Discord because DJ had been removed, and so we were in their team Discord. Just me and him, and I felt like that might have made the difference. Only having one voice in my ear, and that voice was the most important that I needed. And yeah, we racing hard all day. I mean, saving tires, throwing sliders. I mean, it wasn't just those last 10, 15 laps. It was the entire race. And yeah, I mean, I raced relatively clean, and just a mistake was made, and I feel really bad about it. Obviously, there's nothing that can be done about it at this point. We just talk about it afterwards, like you said. So we'll get that sorted out, I think. And yeah, I'm at a loss for words, honestly. Now I don't even know what else to say. Like, that was just insane. That battle, Peyton, if he's still watching this, that won't ever leave my memory. I don't need a photo or to go back and watch this to remember what just happened, because that was the most memorable thing.
Say I think that's race of the season, and at the end of the day, it's one of those championship. How often do you get to go door to door for a championship down to the last corner of the last lap? That never happens. Normally, it's one guy's got it comfortably in these sorts of situations. So, I feel like you're about to say this because this is the kind of guy you are, and I know that and trust you with that as well. Do you feel like if you'd have lost that one, it would have stung a little bit, but it's just, man, what a race! I feel it was one of those days where it was just the racing was so good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like I would look down and the top 4 were the championship 4. And you don't think that in a league that runs fixed setups and that has a talent variety like we have. I mean, it was a pretty decent car count tonight, and it just felt like the four of us just elevated what we were from even a week ago, and we were just battling it out, and everybody was racing literally their own race. There was a different line. Like I ran the bottom the entire race. I tried the top for 2 laps. I couldn't run it, so I was back to the bottom. And you had guys like Peyton that I don't think ever ran the bottom unless he went bottom 3 wide. So yeah, the elevation was definitely there. And just to be a part of this race, like I was saying, it's just a privilege on its own just to make it. And yeah, I mean, that's just to come out on top is awesome. And obviously, again, feel bad for the contact. But like you said, the hard racing, yeah, very hard racing. I don't think I took it easy. I mean, I was joking with Peyton that my shirt was bouncing 2 feet off my chest when I finished. So I don't know. I don't know what the heart rate was, and I don't think it'll ever settle in until the heart rate gets down. So we'll get that figured out with Alan. We'll talk with him about it. But yeah, just what a race. That was just wild to be a part of.
Well, Trey, congratulations on winning tonight's season finale. Congratulations, you are the 2025 Esports Oval League's Grind Cup Series champion. And before we let you get back to your celebrate and let you get that heart rate down a little bit, we're now going to give you the opportunity for some Victory Lane and Championship thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a long one, so buckle up. Obviously, everybody on the team, Alan Dobbs, Brock Whitehead, my brother, as even though I don't want to say it, Brock is really good at racing, and he's only improving. So hopefully we'll see him here in the championship next season. Noah Jackson, Brandon Cooper, who couldn't make the back half of the playoffs. Chris, our spotter up on the box, helping us out. Obviously, DJ, my spotter tonight. Even my dad, co-owner of the league, he's always in there every race day saying, it's race day. Let's get it up. And God, that was such a fun team to be a part of this season. I think it was our most successful in this league. We'll start with Scott for being there, helping with the points a little bit. We were going back and forth throughout the playoffs on the playoff points and keeping track of everything. So that was a lot of fun to talk to you about all that because I felt like we were the only 2 number guys in the league. So that was a lot of fun. Seth, your consistency in broadcasting week in and week out, I can't thank you enough because it's like film for us to go back and watch what we did and figure out what worked and what didn't work and apply it to the next week. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Obviously, Flatout Racing Network, just unbelievable broadcasts. If you're a part of a league that doesn't have a broadcast setup, you need to contact these guys like right now because, I mean, they're worth whatever they charge. Hubka for putting the league on, all the admins. I think I'm going to miss a couple, but Roos, Kleinsma, I'm not sure if McQuaid is one, but there's a few more that I'm obviously forgetting about. Just what a fantastic league. I mean, we had stuff happen and people come and go, and sometimes low car counts, sometimes high car counts, sometimes a lot of wrecks, sometimes green flag. I mean, it was just one of the best leagues that I've ever been a part of. And then obviously on the car, we've got Travels by JD. It's my good buddy James Harris. We just booked our cruise for next year. We're going on a family cruise. So he's been very helpful, and they have a lot of perks if you book through them. So just check them out at Travels by JD on Facebook. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It was a long one, so appreciate you guys.
Incredible season, incredible finale here tonight. Congratulations on getting the job done here tonight, not only capturing the checkered flag, but getting to hoist that championship trophy here in 2025. Trey, we'll let you get back to your celebrating. Job well done here tonight and the entirety of the season. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Trey Whitehead, the 2025 Grind Cup Series champion. We kicked this thing off here in the state of Florida at Daytona back in the month of February. We migrate our way back here to this state for the championship battle here tonight. Scott, what more is there to say that we haven't already said? I mean, as we said, not only as broadcasters, but as fans, we were treated to an incredible race here tonight. I've been seeing drivers talking in the chat, people in our chat here on YouTube. I mean, what an incredible close to the season.
That sells the story of what it was. Brilliant season. I think also how the challenging nature. I mean, Tom Bourne's a really, really good example of how difficult that track was to drive tonight. Unfortunately for him, with his job and what he does, he came in with very, very little practice. I think he ended the session just before qualifying started. And that car took practice to drive well, drive consistently. And he fell by the wayside as a result of that one. So to the guys that actually put that one on, phenomenal. This will be my last time behind the microphone as well for us in our partnership. I've been blessed with a job for the last 5 years that's allowed me to commentate during the middle of the day, Australian time. It's just before 3 p.m. over here, and that ends here in a couple months. So I've been blessed to work with you over the last couple seasons, and what a race to sign off on for the pair of us working together, Seth. I'm annoyed that this is it, but if I'm going to go out and finish up working with you, and it's been an awesome season working with you one more time, brother.
An absolute privilege for me as well. It was great to get the band back together, if you will, on a Wednesday night, and an incredible season to be able to do it as well. A couple of other preliminary congratulations to hand out. Whitehead Racing wins the team championship here in 2025, and Alan Dobbs is the 2025 Grind Cup Series Rookie of the Year. So a sweep, if you will, in terms of the accolades here in the Grind Cup Series for Whitehead Racing and their drivers, as Trey Whitehead caps it off with the championship here this evening in the finale at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Well, thank you to everybody as well for joining us here tonight. Join us during the course of the entire season. We hope you have enjoyed our coverage of the Esports Oval League's Grind Cup Series for the year 2025. Well, that is going to do it for our coverage. For Scott Rankin, myself, Seth Cole, thank you once again all for joining us, and we will see you guys next time as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support